You've seen that with Will Flanagan. Will Flanagan's name isn't even Will Flanagan. It's Billy Silvia. Like, he changed his name. I don't know if... his name's not even Will Flanagan. I used to work with the boy at Stop and Shop. His name is not Will Flanagan.
No. I didn't know that.
Surprise.
Welcome to the Bobby Kudo Show, where we dive into the fascinating world of human experiences and excellence. With special guests, real-life anecdotes, and thought-provoking discussions. Get ready to unlock and tap into your absolute potential with your host, manifestation coach, Bobby Kudo.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome episode 91 of the Bobby Kudo Show. It is my absolute pleasure to be in Studio B with the legend, the queen of media, Jessica Machado. Welcome to the show.
Hi.
Hi.
Very appropriate.
Right?
Yes.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely. Listen, I just want to go on record right now and say this out loud. Recently, I know Jessica. This Jessica. Before this, the only Jessica that I knew was Substack Jessica. I was reading all your Substack. Oh. So I didn't know your presence so much in the Fall River community because I really wasn't involved in any of this, to be honest with you.
Right.
You hear the names sound familiar, but to me, I was absolutely in love with the things that you were writing. Nobody was doing it. It came at a time, I know the whole Karen Reed thing really propelled all of it. I didn't even know what Substack was. I had no idea. So you introduced that to me. And I really love the 1 minute reads, the 5 minute reads, being able to catch up on a lot of these things. And I appreciate the level of honesty and how equal you are to everyone. You give everybody an opportunity. And I want to say that very carefully because I know in the realm that we're in right now, a lot of people saying a lot of things. People coming after me. Like, I'm just a messenger, man. People are calling me out for not living in Fall River my whole life, like just crazy things like that. And I say to myself, wow, if they're coming after me and I'm not even running for office, like I'm just a podcaster trying to get the word out, I can only imagine what they do to you.
Yeah. I mean, after a year, we'll circle back to that and you'll have a much thicker skin. I know, like, when you're first getting into it, and you're not really new, you've been doing this for a while. But now that there's a little bit more of a spotlight on you, the attention will come, the insults will come, the attacks, like you're saying, will come. But in a year from now, you're going to be like, that was nothing. I can't believe that was a big deal back then. You get used to it. You get a thicker skin. You have to. If not, you don't stay in the game anymore.
Yeah,
and that's why people leave. You have to take everything. I mean, there's nothing anybody can say that can insult me or upset me. I mean, you can call me a bad mom and maybe that'll get me, but my kids don't think that. So it doesn't affect me at all.
Real quick,
shouldn't affect you.
Can we start at the beginning?
Yeah.
The beginning is you writing for the Herald News, right? Is that where it kind of started for you? Like, actually, making money for the work that you were producing?
Not quite. I was working for Fall River Reporter.
Okay. All right.
I used to blog for the Herald News many years ago. Yeah. It was a restaurant blog. I don't know if anybody remembers it. It was maybe like 5 or 6, things, and then they just cut the whole thing. But Fall River Reporter. So I was actually on the radio before all of that.
Okay.
So I worked for WBSM, which is the AM version of Fun 107 out in Fairhaven. And if we go back even further, I had a podcast. Oh, you want to go far back?
Yes, I want to go all the way. Fine. I want to go all the way. I want to know how we got here. I want to know how we got here.
Sure. A long time ago, there's a guy in the city called Mike Herrin. And Mike Herrin started a radio station called Hurricane Radio. And he did it right up the street from here, up in the top of a building. Yeah. And every day he would say, if you're interested in coming on and having a show, come to the studio. And I would see his posts, and I had never spoken behind a microphone before.
What year is this?
This has got to be 2010, 2011, maybe. I had 3 kids, like under the age of 10. I was a stay-at-home mom, and Mike would post every day, come in. And I don't know what it was, but something about talking. I love to, I'm like a chit chatter. I want to talk. And so
I can relate.
He got to me one time. Yeah, you can. And so he got to me one day and he messaged me and he said, you should come in. I'd like your opinions online. I'm always giving my 2 cents. And one day I said, sure, I will come in. And I co-hosted one of his shows in the afternoon with him. Yeah. And this thing right here, right in front of my mouth, that was it. I was in. And so he asked me if I wanted to do my own show. I had no idea what we were doing. Internet radio was like a new thing back then. Like even Facebook wasn't really a big thing back then. Right. So he had a website and we were live streaming on a website, which is crazy to think about that back then. Yeah. And I did a show called Bunny After Dark on Wednesday nights from 10 to midnight. I'm a bunny. I'm not a TT. I'm not an auntie. I'm a bunny. Okay. And that was my nickname, like within my family. And so Khloe Kardashian had a show called Khloe After Dark at that time. Okay. And I was like, so Bunny like After Dark, Khloe After Dark. So Bunny After Dark was born. I did a show every Wednesday and it was fun. It was great. we didn't have a lot of promotion or anything. Like we didn't know what we were doing.
Right.
But I love doing this. And then Hurricane Radio closed down, and I didn't do anything else.
Yeah.
I had a little small stint. I got a call from someone that asked if I wanted to fill in at WSAR.
That's where he is now, right? Hurricane Mike. He's at
Mike. So
right?
Yep, he's come full circle. He started there
Yeah.
and then he left there, and now he's back there.
Yeah.
It's all very incestuous. Everybody kind of like goes back and forth, unless you go off and do your own thing, like you're doing and I'm doing now.
Yeah. Which I love, by the way. We'll get into that.
We'll get into it.
Yeah.
So I did a small little thing on WSAR. I was filling in for Wayne Rigo, who is on there right now.
Okay.
But Wayne was running for school committee at the time, and so he couldn't be on the air. I was on maybe for 5 or 6 shows with his co-host, and my politics were not well received, and so I was cut right then and there, and they said can't come back, and I was like, that's fine, because I disagreed even back then with all of the politics and the politicians. And then the next thing was a guy I knew started
Real quick, but you went to Turd. Like, so they're telling you, hey, we don't want this. So most people would have been like, well, what do you want me to do? Like, can I?
Well,
can
I have a whole theory on that now, like looking back.
Yeah.
Like, I was never one of those people that said, just kind of keep going, and every like loss is like a win. And I never subscribed to that.
Okay.
But I have a decade of this under my belt now, and that's actually really true.
Yeah.
It really is. Like, if you really want to do it, or you're good at it, or it's your talent, like I believe God gives you a talent, and my talent is this, and it's going to eventually work its way there. So I actually like losing. I like that challenge. I like overcoming it. And every single time I have lost, the next step is higher than the one that I was on.
I love that.
And that's a little addictive for me.
Yeah.
So, if I get fired, or I get the axe, or somebody, tries to cancel me, I always end up going higher. And I don't think that's a coincidence. So, so then Boomer Amaral, who was a co-owner of a studio
with Eric B.
Yes. They knew about Bunny After Dark days, and they wanted to resurrect Bunny After Dark. And I was like, sure, let's do it.
Yeah.
But if we go, we're going hard. We're going to do a crazy show. And my first show, we had a stripper from the Cadillac Lounge on, Tiani, my girl.
Fun.
And we just talked about the industry, and she's a mom, and what's it like. And I mean, there was no sex talk. It was just like, let's talk to this
these
girl.
These are people too. Yeah, these are humans too. Imagine that they have a regular life.
For sure.
Right.
And so I just wanted to give that perspective. The second show was 2 OnlyFans creators that live in Fall River. And this is, it was during COVID. OnlyFans was just starting to become a thing. And I'm like, wait, you're making money off of this? Like, talk to us about it. So, and then COVID hit, and we shut it down. But the manager over at WBSM knew my politics. He saw Bunny After Dark, and he said, you should come and do a show over here. And I said, okay. So I got a show on Saturdays, and it was all politics, 3 hours. And then I got a little gig working for Howie Carr.
Okay. The Howie Carr Network, right?
Howie Carr,
right?
yep.
Yeah.
So I filled in for Howie once or twice.
That's pretty cool, man.
It is.
Guy's a legend. You know what I mean? The guy's a legend.
It was a big deal.
Yeah, that's so awesome. I can't imagine getting that phone call, right?
It was. It was pretty surreal. I mean, I was actually, I was really excited. I was freaked out.
Yeah.
I was like, holy shit, like Howie Carr. Okay. And so I filled in a couple times, which was great. And then Grace Curley, who comes on before Howie, she was going on maternity leave. And so they asked me if I could fill in for her. And that was a really big deal. And then they fired me. And so
how many episodes? Like how many?
I had filled in quite a bit, and I was literally so it was filling in while she was getting ready to go for maternity. It was literally a week before she was set to leave.
What year is this?
This is only a couple of years ago, 2023.
So like post COVID, like right after COVID.
Oh yeah,
right.
Yeah. And so they fired me. I became a witness in a case.
Okay. All right.
I mean, I don't really know, honestly, Bobby, if you're really ready for all of this. Like, there's no politics the way, like...
Give it to me.
So I'm a Republican.
Okay.
And I'm involved in the Republican
you sure about that?
part.
Because we got people changing their... I've never seen so many changes in political affiliation lately.
From the day that I could breathe, I've been a Republican.
Like, I never changed this. Like, I see people, I was this yesterday, but today I'm this. I've never seen that before. Like, how...
I mean, listen, people can evolve and change and recognize, hey, maybe I grew up a certain way and my feelings are different now, and I respect that, and that's totally fine, and I welcome that, especially if it's coming to our side of things.
Right.
I, on the other hand, have known from a very young age that I was a Republican.
Would you consider yourself a conservative advocate?
100%. I mean, it's the thread woven through everything I do.
Love it.
I mean, I used to watch Family Ties and Alex P. Keaton, And I don't know if you remember that,
course.
but Alex P. Keaton was a
Absolutely.
Republican in a family full of,
Yes.
I have a twin
Yes.
sister and she's a Democrat. So I knew right away that that's how I felt. I always had those positions and those thoughts on things. So I've been a registered Republican. I've always voted Republican. I work for Republican candidates when I can. I've run for office as a Republican myself. And I try to get Republicans elected in Massachusetts.
And I mean, I don't want to get us in trouble, but would you say that it's fair to say that
you can't get me in trouble. Stop. What do you mean? Stop. What do you mean get me in trouble? Why?
Just the noise. Do you think...
I don't subscribe to that, Bobby.
No,
You're going to learn a lesson today, sir.
Well, so the media is polluted with it.
I'm the media.
You know what I mean? With that democratic idea, that liberal democratic idea.
Sure.
And they control everything in the sense, and I want to clear this when I say this. So, in other words, someone like you who has a conservative idea working for, let's just say, PBS, for example.
Sure.
You wouldn't last 5 minutes.
Well, that's why there's new media.
You see what I'm saying? And so, like, obviously, we see what's happened, right? You eat your young at some point. There's nothing left. There's nobody left to go after. And you see what really happens. And so, like, the only reason I mention this is because I see you you went through all this. Like, your evolution was literally through the woke, you know what I mean? Like, this wokeness that, how do people survive through this, right? And especially I'm not a political show. So I wasn't subject to it the way that you were.
Right.
And so now here you are, the second time you're getting fired.
Yep.
What's next?
Well, I work for myself now, so I can't get fired.
It's the way to go. It's the way to go.
I mean, they birthed this. This is their fault.
Agreed.
So if they don't like it,
we are the media now.
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely. So here you are.
Yeah.
We're surrounded by all these politicians, right? So you've been through this journey.
Yep.
More recently, you decide, hey, I'm going to work for myself. So do you still do side work for like the Fall River Reporter and things like that?
Well,
or is it like, because you do a lot of writing for Substack.
Bobby, I got fired from Fall River Reporter as well.
So you don't do contributing to them at all?
No, fuck them.
I love this. See,
what do you mean?
Listen, hold on. I don't know you, Jessica. I don't know you. That's why we're here. And I only say this. Look, and I mean this with the most respect possible.
I know.
I was so excited to get you in my studio because I see what you have become.
Thanks.
I didn't know the journey. I haven't, and now more recently, like sitting down with Christopher and sitting down with these people, I kind of see what's happening all around us, and be like, wow, she made it through all this, and she continues to be such a strong voice in all this, and you don't back down like a FOIA request away. Like you don't back down. You're going after these things. And I know I mentioned it. You're doing God's work. Nobody's doing this. You know why? Because they're afraid. You know what I mean? Like immediately people are like, well, don't say that. Well, I don't want it. Because why? Because these sponsors refuse to live up to the truth. And I think, when we're in this realm and we're struggling to get people to understand how hard it is to have a message. Right? And if you believe in someone, there's 10 people that don't. So now you got to, do I convince you or do I say, go fuck yourself? I got my own shit to worry about.
I've learned early on that if I'm thinking something, someone else thinks it too. And so if I say it, then someone is saying, hey, that resonates with me. And I'm glad she said that because I'm also thinking that. And we could talk a lot about it, but I mean, listen, a lot of people think the same way I do. And for some reason, maybe they can't say that they think that way. Mm-hmm. Or maybe they have the same feelings and they don't have the time to get involved, or they don't want to get involved, or maybe they own a business and they can't, and they're worried, whatever.
Sure.
I consider it an obligation to give my perspective. I consider myself a middle of the ground person in life. Like I'm not extraordinary. I'm not a loser. Mm-hmm. I'm in the middle. I think a lot of people are like that. And I just, I feel... Listen, if one day I do a live stream and no one is on there, I'm still not sure I would stop because it's cathartic for me. It feels good for me. I want to do
exactly
it. So you know what I mean?
What you mean. Yeah.
But right now I have a lot of people that listen. I mean, I grew my platform, despite all of those things.
Right.
And, getting fired from these places, it made me realize like, I don't want to work for people because then if I do something that doesn't fit with what they want, I got fired from Howie Carr because I was subpoenaed to be a witness in a political case. Mm. I was a witness. I got subpoenaed. And the Carrs didn't like that. They thought that would bring negative attention on them. I was a witness. I didn't do anything wrong. Two people were suing each other, and I happened to be a witness that had evidence. I got subpoenaed. I informed them of that, and they said, we've got to let you go. I'm trying to be formal here, but I'll tell you what. The day they told me that I got the job was one of the highest of highs, and the day they fired me was one of the lowest of lows. Mm. It was a financial huge thing for my family to get that gig.
Sure.
I came home and told my kids about it, and they were really excited. And the day I told them that I got fired, my daughter cried. She was really upset. And so, I take those things, I absorb them. It's like, I don't know how to explain it. I say when people say or do things to me, I absorb it and it makes me stronger. And I reach like the next level, and it's like, if you knew like what you did to me made me stronger, you probably wouldn't have done it. If you say something mean to me, it doesn't affect me. And so, then I got the gig at Fall River Reporter, and that was my first foray into writing. I had been a talk show girly and talking about news. And so doing writing was a jump for me. I'm really good at writing and I love doing it,
Obviously.
but nobody wanted.
I love your writing.
Nobody paid. Well, Howie Carr actually paid me to write. I did a couple of pieces for him, but to do it full time, I wasn't really sure I had it in me or if I wanted to. And Mike Silvia said, why don't you just try it? I think you could do it. And I killed it, actually. I did really great. A couple of my stories got picked up nationally. We brought a lot of eyes to Fall River Reporter, and then the Karen Reed trial started.
Yeah.
And I went for the first hearing, and I drove home and called Mike, and I said, I think I got to be here every day. And he's like, it's not happening. And I said, okay. And he's like, I need you down here. There's stories down here. I need a beat reporter. And I was like, do you know how big this is? Like, I don't know if he knew. And this is trial one, and I just don't think he knew. Yeah. So I was driving home, and for all of my besties who know, this was like a 24 on 24. I had like this little show, but it was before we actually branded it as such. And I got off the phone with him, and I started crying, and I was like, am I allowed to swear on here? I was like, what the fuck?
This is an adult show.
Well, I was like, what the fuck? How does he not know about this trial? How does he not know that this is going to grow his platform?
Or even have a conversation.
Attention.
Maybe just have a conversation about it. Maybe he doesn't understand. Hey,
well,
Jess,
that's what I did.
Fill me in.
So I made a case for it, and I made a deal with him. And I said, listen, I think I can build your Twitter account to 10,000 followers by the end of this trial. And I think they had like 800 followers.
Your Twitter account is crazy.
Well, I mean, I work really hard at it.
Yeah.
And so I did. I remember the day we were almost at, I think we were close to jury deliberations, and we hit the 10,000 for Fall River Reporter.
Oh, wow.
And I was like, I did my part.
There you go.
And listen, he got way more eyes on him than he ever would have, and opened a lot of people up to Fall River Reporter stuff. And so it was great. And I thought it was really, really great. And then in January of this year, he called me into the office and said he had to let me go. And he said, I need someone to cover local stories. You're, an out there girl, and these big stories are not what I need or want. And I said, you're making a huge mistake. I'll be honest with you. It took the wind out of me. It came from absolute left field. I thought the work that I was doing for him was extraordinary. It was better than anything anybody was doing around here. And I thought it was aligned with what his principles were, which was, do you know the movie Spotlight? About the the movie Spotlight. The movie Spotlight is about the Catholic Church.
Yes.
Okay. And the reporters that uncovered it.
Yes.
I had worked for Fall River Reporter for maybe a week, and Mike called me into the office. He said, we're going to watch a movie, and it was Spotlight, and I had never seen it before. And he said, when it was done, he's like, this is what I want you to do. I want you to dig. I want you to figure this out. Go find the Spotlight stories. And I did. And then once I did, he didn't want them anymore. Wow. And so he fired me. And so it was a couple of days after I got fired. I was devastated, didn't know what to do. And I have some really great people in my life. Erin is one of them. I have a really great group of moms who were like...
She has great hair.
Everybody loves Erin's hair.
Great hair.
It's amazing.
Great hair.
She comes on the show once in a while, and she pops on, and everybody's like, Erin is smoke.
I'm on your every Saturday. I come on your show, and I'm like, Erin has great hair.
She really, really does. But she's part of a really great group of women that like elevate me and support me. And I also have some really great mentors in the Republican Party. And they all were like, you should just do it on your own.
Right.
And that was very interesting to me, because then I'm like, what am I going to fire myself? I just been hit so many times with no's. And I was like, I don't know. Right. Can I do it? I don't know. We'll try.
So real quick, let's take a step back.
Yeah.
So you mentioned you're a mom.
Yeah.
So 2019.
Yes.
You say, hey, what's up with the school committee? Like something's got to change here. Like you want to make a difference. So you throw your hat in the ring for this. So I hope I'm not saying anything I shouldn't.
You can say whatever you
legally,
want.
You know what I mean? But it turns out
I'm free of all that, Bobby.
Between sausage and just ridiculous, heinous things.
Yeah.
I wasn't sure what I was reading when I read it, to be honest with you. I'm like, is this really true? Like, how did I not hear about this?
Yeah.
Can we talk about that a little bit?
Love to.
Because I think
I've never talked about it, actually, Bobby.
Anybody that wants to be on and like support the community, how does that happen? Like, 'cause I would have to think everybody has the best intention. If I'm running for school committee, city councilman, the mayor of a city, there has to be the good intentions of Right?
I really appreciate your optimism and your rose-colored glass view on that. It is not that way, and I'm not sure I even had that when I ran the first time, but
I was blown.
yeah. So myself and a bunch of moms started going to school committee meetings after the Parkland shooting. So the Parkland shooting happened, and we started looking at schools and going, are our schools safe? Because, at that time, Parkland came around, and you could see videos of what was going on inside the school during the shooting.
Right.
And my daughter was in high school at that time, and I'm going, well, that looks a lot like my daughter's classroom. Right. And are our doors locked? Do we have security?
What's
at
the plan?
time,
what's the plan?
We had one school resource officer for all of our schools in Somerset. And so a bunch of us started talking on Facebook, and we got together and said, let's go to a school committee meeting. We all organized, and basically we're like, were we holding them accountable? Yes. Was anybody talking about school safety at that time? No, nobody was.
Right.
I guess nothing happened, so people don't do anything. But now you have a shooting, and now we want answers.
Sure.
And so we went to that first meeting, and that was it. We started getting active. We started showing up. Erin and I were putting in our first FOIA requests, public records requests. We wanted to see the budget. They're saying this is what we spent. Well, let's actually authenticate that. How much did you spend? Where did you spend it? I remember we would get
they don't like that. They don't like that.
No,
they don't like that.
No, and very quickly they stopped liking me. And it was then when we started really learning about elected officials, their power. Especially in a small town. Fall River's a city, but it's got that small town feeling. It's very tight, and everybody is grown up here, and so it has that same vibe. And we started to face adversity right away, which never made sense. There was a lot of things that just started happening, and it was bad, know. So
so right away you're like, okay, they're resisting this. Like, what is really going on here, right?
Well,
because I imagine you have the instinct. You have that instinct. You can tell something's up, right?
Yes. There were a group of elected officials. They were all friends. Yeah. So I ran for office that year, and it was pretty uneventful. Nothing really happened. I lost. I came in last. But there was no arguments, no fighting. It was a clean election, no problems. Okay. And I just thought, well, people don't know me enough, so I'm going to run a second time. Yeah. And that was really when things went off the rails, Bobby, I guess you could say. It just went off the rails. I ran again, and the seat I was running for, the guy, he's a former police officer. This police officer retired. He called me and he said, I got to let you know, I got a call from some stakeholders in town. And he said their names and, some power players in town, elected officials and some big names. And he said, they called me and asked me to run for office again for the same seat. And he said, I'm not doing it. It doesn't fit my life right now. I don't want to do it. And he said, we cannot let Jess Machado get elected. And
So you're like, what?
Yeah.
What?
I was like, wow, I'm that powerful. Got it. And so he didn't run. Yeah. I ran. And what's that? It's a series of unfortunate events. It really was. A series, a lot of stuff started happening, bad stuff I didn't understand, fake Facebook pages coming after me and all this stuff. And then it went downhill. I was driving to the beach. It was COVID, so we were locked down. Yeah. I was driving to the beach with my husband one Sunday morning, and my phone beeped, and it was a burner phone number. And the burner phone number said, listen, you don't know me, but I know all about you, and I know all of the people that are working against you and trying to hurt you. They're trying to get you arrested. They're trying to do A, B, and C to you. Yeah.
What?
And I remember driving.
So just for the audience, this is school committee.
Sure. Yeah. In a small town of 18,000 people.
We're not talking about like city council or like a mayoral position. We're talking
school committee.
School committee.
Yeah.
To me, that's like, wow.
Yeah.
What are you hiding here?
Well, they want power, and they wanted to keep power, and they weren't going to let it go to someone like me. No way. And so that led to a whole mess of stuff. It led to legal issues. It led to restraining orders. It led to me being charged with violating restraining orders. It led to me being arraigned twice, out on bail, personal recognizance.
Wow.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
So this is extreme. This is like, I'm going to punch you in the face extreme.
No, I mean, listen, it's too deep to get into. We can do another.
No,
but
sure,
listen,
sure.
these
Right,
people,
right.
this was my opponent.
Yeah.
She was also running for office against me.
Yeah.
Her boyfriend at the time was our chief of police. Her best friend at the time was a
See,
member of the board of selectmen.
See, this is where it all, like, 'cause you're saying this to me and I'm like, wow, this doesn't make any sense. But now you say that and I'm like, okay, it makes all the sense in the world, right?
They didn't like me. I wasn't part of that group. They like to gatekeep Somerset. I was born in Somerset. I lived there for the first couple months of my life. My grandparents built a house there. My father lived there and was born there, but that's not enough for some of those people. They like to gatekeep it and say, you've got to live here your whole life. You've got to be a true townie and whatever. And also if you don't agree with them, that's the thing. It's like your opinion just can't be heard. So rather than let me give my take on something and let people make their own decision, they controlled that. They kicked me out of the big town group pages where my message would be heard by many people and then blocked me, blocked my husband, blocked my friends. So nobody could defend me. So then they'd drop a bunch of shit in there and nobody could defend it. And it just sat there. And so voters would read this stuff and go, she must be a terrible person. She is a terrible person.
The same thing with Trump. It's like I say it, and Obama did it. He's the one that said it. He's like, just flood it with so much misinformation. You don't know what the hell the truth is anymore.
Nobody knows.
You literally have no idea.
It has taken me 5 years to rebuild my reputation. And that has been done through face-to-face conversations, meeting people, showing them the truth, showing them my work, authenticating these certain things and then disproving the rumors, and one by one, meaningful conversation after meaningful conversation. I wouldn't say won people over. I've restored back to the default position, which is I'm a really good person. I care about my community. I don't break laws. I never was going to hurt anybody. I didn't deserve to be in jail. I didn't deserve to be out on bail. My opinion just happened to differ from the opinion of people who were in power in my community. And also, I mean, looking back on it, I thought that there was, I would say like a bull in the china shop mentality was like, I've got to come in. And I wasn't nice with my message. I was swearing. I was calling people names. I was digging up dirt. Looking back, I've learned there's a far more powerful and effective way to do that. And it's about long game and
that's
slowly.
Growth. Jess, that's growth.
Yeah,
that's growth.
I've grown.
That's a lot of growth.
I've grown.
It is.
I'm not the same as
but
I
it's
was.
obvious in what you're creating now, right? Like what you create has the balance and calmness that I think represents who you are and the brand. It's
frustrating though, because the message and the intent has always been the same, but my delivery hasn't always been great. I mean, I wish I could be a little bit more scrappy like I used to be, but I don't know. Sometimes it gets lost in the message. I think
your writing is just brilliant. I think I capture it. I see it. And just real quick for the audience, what is your method? Like, so do you what do you come up with your story? I know there's a lot going on, but what do you pick? Why do you pick these particular stories? I know Karen Reed was very important to you. More recently, her name was is it Kaylee? The Kaylee situation, which I'm completely blown away. And again, back to my original point, and there's so much substance in people like, oh, another girl died. Okay, but there's so much behind that. I think the system failed her, you know, and I think she'd still be with us. And shame on me. I didn't know who she was before this, you know, so I'm just as guilty as anybody else. But I think if the system had been what it should be, she'd be here today, you know. But again, I watch your interviews and I appreciate the idea that there's two sides to every story, right? And so you hear these young ladies and they're talking about this horrific situation. But then you wonder, I say to myself, well, what's the state of mind of these women, right? Are they in their best state of mind? And is some of this stuff being convoluted to fit the narrative, right? In fact, was it based on religion, right? We don't know, right? Like, it's just, we ask people and we trust what they say. But I hate to think that, you know, humanity would just like throw her out and just knowing she's pregnant and just saying like, and her saying, hey, I got nowhere to go. And just being like, well, get out. You have 10 minutes to pack your shit and get out of here. And that's the stuff I struggle with, man. Like when I see that. And I probably, you know, obviously I would have seen it on the news. I would have seen it on the news 3 times. You know, Fox 25, every morning it's on, right? I would have seen that for 7 days straight and never really known the substance of that. So I want to say thank you for shining the light on that and making people realize that, you know, there's a lot going on here. It's not just people that are sick dying. There are reasons and there are things that are happening in the background, you know, much like not having enough firefighters to put out a fire. You know what I mean? So these are things that I think that our municipalities should be supporting our community, and I feel like they keep failing us. And I appreciate the fact that you keep bringing light to that. You know what I mean? But with that said, so your Saturday show, Like
Yes.
I want to talk about that. 'Cause
Yes.
I think it's fantastic. I think it's great. I think
Thank
it's
you.
something that we absolutely need right now. I've tuned in. I think you've done 4 so far.
4.
I've been for
Right,
I've been,
Erin? 4?
4. I've been there for all 4. You're doing a great job too in production, and I appreciate them. I really enjoy them. And I'll say this,
Thank you.
because I found that I appreciate your writing, and I hope I'm not sounding like a fanboy over here, but I'm just like, I manifested you.
I get that a lot, by the way.
Well,
So I'm
I can
used
see
to it
why.
by now.
I can see why. Well,
Used to
the
it.
truth is I manifested this. Like, I've been manifesting this for a long time, and I'm not sure how much of the show you've had a chance to
What
listen
do you
to.
mean?
Well, the struggle to success, to be in a situation where I have the opportunity to sit down with somebody like you of your caliber and have a conversation and talk about your success and how you got here and the effect that you have in the community and the people around us. You know what I mean? There's a lot of information that I wouldn't be privy to hadn't you brought light to. So I appreciate that. And I'm not sure that you get that from people. I know like people are constantly attacking you. I see the Facebooks.
I have more fans than haters. I
Yeah.
mean, I can't go out in public without someone coming over and saying hello to me. I mean, at Fenway, I had people coming over and asked to take selfies.
I
I'm
love
at a
that.
concert,
That's
people
great.
coming.
Yeah.
My kids don't love it. They're like,
Yeah.
oh God,
Well, because
Mom,
you're a
you know
power.
what I mean?
You're a power.
I would just want to say though, like, you know, first of all, I wouldn't say that I'm in some sort of realm that's beyond where you are. I think we're doing the same type of stuff, which is having conversations, talking to people, and asking questions. But with that being said, you know, I am a little nostalgic for what you're doing here. It reminds me of when I first started and I was first doing things and that excitement. And like, you know, I think that's something you should be proud of.
Thank you.
I think it's a lot of work, and I unless you're doing it, I don't think people get it.
Right.
Sometimes it doesn't pay, and I did it for a long time where it didn't pay.
Right.
But I think it's great that you're doing this.
Thank you. I really appreciate it. That means the world to me. And like I was saying, for me, the struggle to success, and obviously there's been a lot of struggle in my life, and I've always wanted to give back. And you always wonder, is it money? Like, do I just show up to places? And then I say, well, what if I just shine some light on the truth? Maybe we just have conversations with amazing people that want to share an amazing story. You know what I mean? So for me, this is where I want to be. Like, I want to do this every day. And, manifesting you being here in the studio, it's in my intro, and I tell everyone, like, if you truly want something in your life and you truly work hard for it, it will happen.
I believe that too.
It's inevitable.
I believe
and
that.
people are like, well, I have a good friend of mine, and it's
Who is that?
my buddy Gary.
Okay.
But I know you have Erin, right? And David is so important to the show and the production of the show. And I have a very good friend of mine, Gary. I'll call him out right now. And he's someone that in his life, obviously we're in our 50s, right? So we don't have a lot of time, right, per se, like in our minds. I mean, to build.
Speak for yourself.
I say, like, to build.
We're in our prime. You don't know that? You don't feel that?
I actually, right now I do.
Okay.
I do now. But
All right.
it was hard getting here. And so, like, what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to pull in the people I care about.
Right.
Like, I'm like, hey, the train is moving. Like, we
Right.
have momentum. There are people that want to talk to us. There are people
Right.
that want to come in. And I'm like, Gary, join me. Come with me. And he just won't do it.
Why, Gary? What's your problem?
It's money. It's money.
What do you mean?
Yeah, it's money. And I say, look, money's a byproduct. Like, if you do what you love, you make money. Money just comes.
You eventually will.
Right?
You know what I mean?
Right?
Before I started this and made the decision to go by myself, I called a friend of mine I was talking about. I said, well, you know what? If it fails, I'll just go get a job working at like the courthouse or something like that. And every time something I do does really well or goes viral or gets picked up nationally, he sends me a screenshot of me going, I'll just go work at the courthouse. And he's like, oh, is this courthouse quality stuff you're doing? And I'm like, yeah, Sean, okay. I mean, first of all, success is... It's individualized. It's for what you think. I mean, for me, my success is that I do something I love. When you just said, you always want to do this, I never want to leave my studio. I'm there all the time. I take naps there. We have a refrigerator and a microwave thanks to Erin. She insisted I get it.
Yeah.
And it did
Espresso,
elevate
coffee maker.
Well, we don't have that. They also have booze here. We don't have that
For sure.
either. But, again, it goes back to me saying, like, I feel everybody has a talent. Yeah. And your whole life, you're taught to go to school and then go get a job, but are you really using like your God-given talent?
Right.
And I don't know many people that do. And, as a parent, I try to cultivate my children to find what their talents are. And I'm not talking like, okay, what is your talent? Like, every child has a talent and I want my kids to find out what that is and then go do it because it does not feel like work every day when I was going to Karen Reed.
Right.
It never felt like a job. I was blessed every day to do it. Going to my studio, it never feels like work. And it eventually pays off. It isn't easy. And like I said, there's many times where, I got fired, and you walk out of there and you're crying or you're like, it's just, okay, well, how are we going to take that and kind of parlay that into the next thing. There's never really been a question to stop.
Right.
It's always just kind of like trudge along. And I think people mislead you on the path to success. They think it's shiny. They think it's paved with like all of these really great momentous things. Yeah, right. I think, but more importantly, it's paved with the failures. And then that stupid thing where people say, you know, you get down, knocked down, and you get back up again. If I could change how people look at metaphors, like don't look at it as like something generic and dumb like I did. It's actually like life. You know what I mean? Like every time something that I was in front of a judge and I was arraigned and put out on bail and now I get paid money to talk by people who support me and advertisers that support me. And I was doing the same thing back then. I was talking out and speaking out about policy and corruption and politicians. I was doing the same thing back then. Only that got me, you know, a public defender. And, 18 months of court cases and a court docket this thick. I'm doing the same thing. You just can't stop. Ever. I never stop.
Yeah, I think momentum is critical. Like, I think once you slow down... Real question, I wanted to ask you a question. Like, so you've been fired a couple of times, right?
Yeah.
At any point, did you get to a point where you're like, well, maybe I shouldn't say this because I might get fired?
No.
Never. Never.
Erin's laughing. It's absolutely not.
No, that's an important question. How many people do that? How many people?
Well, I look back and I go, okay, first of all, I don't suck at what I do. I'm good at talking. I'm great at writing. I'm really great at investigating and asking questions and knowing where to ask those questions. And I think you asked, like, where do I get an idea for a story? Yeah. I take a story and then I look and say, that's not making sense. So let me go and look at that part of it. And that usually leads to the real story, the bigger story, the more eye-catching story. You know what I mean? So like, you know, there's I'll divert for a second, but there's a story in the news today about a woman who got picked up by ICE, right? And she was taken for a couple days and she had a minor drug charge, they said, back in the day, right? Okay. And so they picked her up and they ended up bringing her into court and they dismissed the thing. Okay. The first thing I did was I looked up her minor drug charge and I was like, well, is it really minor? Was it drug trafficking? What really happened? Yeah. Now, in this instance, it sounds legit, but 9 times out of 10, those little things that I look at, that's the story.
That's the story.
So the Kylie Montero story, you know, she gets killed by her boyfriend. She gets murdered. And the story was she was leaving a women's shelter and she took an Uber to that home. Well, everybody was focused on what was happening in that house and what happened to her with the boyfriend. And I was going, why did she leave the house? What happened that she left the house?
There it is right there.
And then when you ask that question, I found out that she got kicked out of the house. And why did she get kicked out of the house? Because she, you know, didn't want to continue going. And from what I'm hearing, you know, doing some of the religious things that they were asking for do. And then when you start talking about that, now all of a sudden there's 8, 9, 10 women who are going, hey, my experience at that house is exactly the same thing. I got kicked out. I was forced out because of my lack of participation in the religion. I'm not saying it's the bigger story, but if you're asking how I get into stories, I'm asking the questions I think that nobody's asking. I always look at different things from a different way. And I don't trust mainstream media, so.
So the Pulitzer, Juerer number 11, how does that happen?
Yeah. So I did Karen Reed trial first, and I was the smallest person on that totem pole. I was there with people from Dateline, CNN, all the big media names. TurtleBoy was there, and he and I were the only independent journalists that were covering that trial. Okay. And, you know, I watched everybody get the stories really fast and I watched them hustle and I was at a very big disadvantage. I didn't have a news truck. I mean, I was at a disadvantage right from the get-go. These people are going there and they have makeup crews. They have teams carrying all their equipment.
Yeah,
I'm lugging
my
old laptop, which weighed like 50 pounds. You know, I'm parking a mile away. They've got news trucks with parking passes. I was at a disadvantage every single day and I'm not complaining, but I understood that and I was like, well, what do I need to do differently trial 2? And so I changed a lot of things and I was more prepared.
It seems like a pattern. I love this. Like you regroup, right? You fail, you regroup and you're like, okay, not this time. I love this. I love this.
I'm a fixer. And so I fixed it and I was like, okay, I need to do things differently. I mean, I wasn't even dressing appropriately. I wasn't wearing the right shoes. I didn't have the right bag. I didn't have the right equipment. this time around, I knew in advance that I needed to get the word out that I was looking for an interview right away. And I shot my shot right away, put it out on my Twitter account right after the verdict because, soliciting jurors during was not, you can't do it.
Right.
The minute the verdict was in, I put up a post, put my cell phone number right out there. I was like, call me. Well, the juror's family had been following me throughout the trial. And so one of the things that I said, I used to give the jurors like nicknames.
Okay.
So because nobody could see the jurors, you can't see the jurors in this case, or any case for that matter. So you can't see. So I would give them nicknames so I could remember, and so my followers would remember. So I would give them all nicknames. Like the foreman from the first jury, his nickname was Vineyard Vines because he always dressed like a preppy Vineyard Vines dress guy. He had Vineyard Vines guy, and so this particular juror, I called her Jenner.
Oh, you created characters. I love this.
Yeah, Jenner juror. So my followers would be like, "Oh, what's Jenner juror doing today?"
Yeah.
So I guess her family said that she had been given a nickname, Jenner juror, by this girl that just asked to interview jurors. So she called me, or she texted me, and she said, "I'm interested in doing an interview with you. My family said they loved your coverage, but I need to know why you called me Jenner juror." And I said, because you dressed like a Kardashian, and I couldn't say Kardashian because then people would get that. So I just nicknamed you Jenner, like Kris Jenner. And she's like, "Oh, okay." She's like, "Let's do an interview." And I was like, "How soon?" And she goes, "Today."
Wow.
And so I also learned you can't wait. You have to go super fast.
Yes.
I wrote my questions out like within 30 minutes. I was in a pool. I was in the pool swimming with my family, and I got out, ran into the dining room.
How exciting for your family. Like, I gotta go.
My husband couldn't believe it, actually. He's like, "The fuck? You got a juror?" And I was like, "I got a juror."
Wow.
So I sent her the questions, and then as she was saying, I'm going to take a few minutes to go through them, TMZ released an interview with the first juror, some guy that was on there.
Yeah.
But I like writing, and I like that I don't know, like something you can see. We can talk or whatever, but I also like that supplemental piece to it.
Yes.
And so the TMZ thing came out, and I was only just a little taken off track by it. I was like, all right, that's fine. It's going to get a little traction. That's good. And then she got it to me so fast, and I sent it to my friend Anthony Amore. He's, he writes. He's got some really great books out there, and I said, "Can you edit this really quick? Make sure there's no issues." Yeah. And I pushed it out super fast, and that was it. I mean, everybody was really thirsty for it. I would say it was luck, but it wasn't luck. It was hard work. Yes. It was knowing what I fucked up on the year before,
right.
and being ready and prepared. And I don't know, they liked my style, and I'm very lucky. And it's not for everybody. There's 12 jurors that maybe didn't like my style, but that particular juror did.
So can I ask you?
Yes.
What did you think? Of the retrial? Do you think she had anything to do with that at all?
I've maintained Karen has been innocent from the beginning. I've lived through political corruption, and I've seen that throughout this whole process. Canton's a small town just like
insight.
Somerset.
You don't much more insight than the rest of us. You were there. You heard the whole trial start to finish.
Yes.
So that's profound to hear you say that. Like that you think that she was. I believe this. I'm with you. I feel the same way.
Even if I didn't, even if I thought, okay, I'm going to keep an open mind to this. The thing that really changed my mind was during the first trial, they brought out the sweatshirt that John was wearing when he was killed. Yeah. And I looked at that sweatshirt. You guys don't have them on because it's hot in here, Bobby.
Yes, very hot.
But if you had a sweatshirt on, the holes in the sweatshirt, the sweatshirt was from here to here. I could see it up close.
Yep.
And there's no way in my mind that a car hitting it and the pieces of the taillight could puncture that sweatshirt in the way that it did. That's how they explained it. And I remember just looking at the sweatshirt and seeing it up close, and I'm going, that's impossible. There's just no way.
Like dog bites,
there's certainly so many other things. Like physical evidence, but then when you add the other pieces to it.
Well, the whole Proctor thing was just like insane.
I mean, I have a weird take on that. I mean, I didn't think it was a big deal that he called her all those nasty. Guys will be guys. I don't know what else to say about that.
I just, the unfortunate part about it is that it's in the middle of an investigation.
Do you think that there aren't cops everywhere who talk like that?
There are, but this
he just got caught.
Wow.
Because his friends murdered a guy. But I mean, it's just I don't know. And also the C word, I told this story I think on my show or something, but I remember the first time a guy called me that, and it stung like that. It just stung. I'll never forget it. And I've learned with everything everybody does to me, you take it and you own it, and then it has no power anymore. So firing me from jobs has no power anymore because I work for myself. You want to call me a see you next Tuesday. I use it all the time. I use it in passing. I use it as a joke. I use it with my friends. So when you call me that anymore, it doesn't matter. There's nothing that has zero value. I've basically neutralized it.
But would you agree the optics were terrible? Like from an audience, from a juror's point of view, from a juror's point of view?
I still think there were way bigger issues in that case than him calling Karen a cunt.
Yes, but I'm saying it speaks to his character, right? Like, so you're
he's
supposed
a scumbag and he's unprofessional.
That's what I'm saying. And it kind of
up.
brings light to that, right?
I think the lack of an investigation, the lack of going into the house, all of those things were far bigger red flags than him ever, texting with his bros and stuff like that. I mean, listen,
when did you know? Was it the sweatshirt? As soon as you saw the sweatshirt,
I knew from the beginning. I mean, I'm a follower of TurtleBoy. I followed every chapter of the case as he wrote it, as it came out. I think the first one I read was number 5 or 6. I mean, we're over 500 or 600, stories about this case. Mm-hmm. So I was all in right from the very beginning. I mean, I really like Aiden. I like his work. It wasn't always that way. I was featured on TurtleBoy myself, so but I really believe
he's big in YouTube. Like his following is YouTube, right? That's where he.
I mean, he does live shows, so but he's big on X. He's big, he's pretty much big everywhere. And if he's not, it's because he's been deplatformed somewhere along the way. They've shut him down.
But he continues to do this, right? It wasn't just the Karen Reed case, right? He's doing.
I mean, he was doing
right?
stuff way before that. I mean, Monica Cannon Grant, for example. I mean, he was the only one talking about that story. So he's. I love the work that he does. He digs. I think he does great work, and so I believe him in his work that he does. Mm-hmm. I believed his take on this from the beginning. Yep. It's where I learned everything about the case was through his work. Yeah. Certainly wasn't coming from mainstream media. They weren't reporting what we knew and everything. I mean, without him, I don't think anybody would know what they know. So. I knew right away.
Those Canton committee meetings were rough.
Yeah. It's big Somerset vibes over there.
I'm like, wow.
I love a good school committee or
I love seeing people stand up.
Do you go to meetings?
I love it. I'm going to start going to meetings. Yeah, I have to start going to meetings.
Why?
Yeah. Because you know what? I feel embarrassed, to be honest with you. Because there's a lot going on right now that I almost like living under a rock.
Yeah.
You know, and I tell the guys all the time, I'm like, guys, am I blinded by like what I see in people? Like, because I always see the good in people. Like I say to myself, if you were there and now you're here, then there's some worth in you. And not realizing, like, I've been talking to more and more people and I'm like, they're doing what? Why? They said what? When? And it takes me back because I would probably never say something about somebody that wasn't true or just something to hurt them for no reason. Like that's not my style. And when I read some of these things and the way people are coming at me on my social media, I'm like, guys,
What are they saying?
They're accusing me of not being from Fall River. Like they're accusing me. So
Are you from Fall River?
I was born and raised here. I was 3 years old. My parents bought a house here. I have 3 families houses here. I left in 2009. I bought a house in Berkeley. I got married.
Okay.
I bought a house in Berkeley and I lived out there for 9 years.
Okay.
Since divorced and moved back to my houses here in Fall River. My mom is 81, lives here her whole life. I'm here every day. So to be called out, but what I'm saying, the point was to be called out with it. I'm like, should I defend myself in this case? I didn't. I just let it be. But the idea was that you couldn't find anything, so that's what you went after. Like that I'm not a resident because I left here for a couple of years, but I didn't. You know what I mean? So, and again, I almost feel like childish even mentioning that because it's such a small thing. But the point is you went looking for it. Like you went and you went. How did you know that? Right.
So now you want to go to meetings because you feel like they're guilting and shaming you into not being here.
I was not aware of the political workings of the city.
Okay.
That's where I was naive.
Do you want to be? Do you need to be?
The truth is, if I think success is a big part of what I'm doing here, right? And I think that if you want to be successful and you want to be a part of a community, the government and the people making the moves, it's important to know who they are.
How does the government affect what you're doing right here?
So say, for example, someone doesn't like my message. Yeah. And say, for example, now they attack me on social media. Say they do all these outrageous things and say outrageous things about me that aren't true. Like
words hurt.
Like you mentioned earlier. So what does it get to a point where it's so convoluted that I can't get my message out anymore, right? And so who's
going to stop you?
Nobody will ever stop me. No one will ever stop me. But the point is like I was almost naive to it. And so in other words, if I'm not involved, then I don't know. Like I have no idea, right?
You don't need to.
But I think it's important.
I think you're asking questions of politicians during an election year, and that's a job that you've taken seriously.
Yes.
You're providing a service to the community by giving people the ability to listen and watch candidates. I think if you start immersing yourself in the politics, I don't want you to. I think you're going to get distracted. And it's a brutal game, and it's hard, and it's harsh, and you have to be really, really built for it.
Well, I see what they're doing, Christopher. So it seems like the guy can't do anything right. You know what I mean? And I only say this, and I'm not saying this in a negative way. I'm just saying that like every time he does something good, they make it bad.
I talk to Christopher all the time. Okay. I get text messages from that guy every day. And I try talking him off a cliff, Christopher. And by the time we're done talking and our conversation is over, he's like, okay, thanks for saying that. He is far stronger than he lets anybody think he is. There's no way he's going to run for mayor if he doesn't have a thick enough skin. You know, I appreciate that he is sensitive to these things. But he's way stronger than I think that he purports himself to be. He gets through it every day, and he wakes up and he's got I rise on his arms. He's tatted up and says, I rise. Dude, you rise every day. You do it. You keep going. Stop bothering me with these like soft feelings about somebody said something about you on Facebook. It's a burner account. It's not even a real person. You can't listen, as I said at the beginning of this, if somebody comes over to me and says, you are a shitty mother, your kids are trash, and you were not there for them, and they don't like you, that still wouldn't hurt. If my kid walked in the door and said, I think you're a bad mom, you're not here for me, you don't care about me, you can't, you're not available emotionally to me, that would bother me. That's like, those are my value system. So, I mean, nothing. Why do you care what anybody says about you?
No, it's not about caring. It's about finding my place. And I think understanding the playing field and the rules is very, very important.
Make your own rules, Bobby.
Yeah, I wasn't aware.
I made my own rules.
Yeah.
Don't conform.
Yeah.
You're in a really great space right now.
Yeah.
You don't need to conform.
Yeah, there's no conforming. Like, this is my message. I won't allow anybody to change the message. Like, and I keep saying, like, and people want to get into political conversations, and I'm like, that's not what the show is about. The show is about the struggle to success. Like, why do you want to run for mayor? Like, when I said with Chris, why are you doing this? Boomer, why are you doing this? Like, what's the point? Like, if you're here for the money, then you're here for the money.
Sure.
Like, we're going to see through that. You know what I mean? But if you really give a shit and you really care, that's what I want to expose. I want people to see, who are you? Like, what do you really stand for? Right? Because you can get up on a podium and say anything you want to say, right? And you can cater to the audience. But to be in a situation where you have to answer to yourself, I think that's something different. You know what I mean?
And I think you're doing a good job of that.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that. It means a lot to me. So let's talk about Christopher real quick. So obviously, I know you, like, he's your guy.
Well, I'm a Republican, and we have Republicans running. First of all, I don't live here, so I'm not voting.
Okay.
By default, if I was voting in this election, I wouldn't be voting for him because I vote for Republicans. Okay. No matter what.
All right. I appreciate that. But
I like Christopher.
Yeah, tell me about Christopher. Like, what is it about him that you find that people should know that maybe they don't know? Like, you say you speak to him every day.
Are you on Instagram?
Yeah.
Okay. Do you know who Leo Sceki is? No. All right. Some of your listeners may know who Leo Sceki is. Leo Sceki is this like Albanian gay man that I'm obsessed with, right? Okay. He's my Leo Sceki.
All right. I know Leo. I know Leo, the bald guy. Yeah. He's fantastic. I love him. Okay. I wish I had his sass.
Okay, Christopher, why do you stop? Pause. We'll go. Why do you say that? Yeah. You wish you had his sass.
Because he's got. You see that? That's his whole motif. That's who he is.
Well,
I love that.
You have your own thing.
No, I know, but I'm saying I love that. I love that he has
We're
that.
We're gonna fix you.
Absolutely. No, there's no fixing.
You need to be fixed.
There's no fixing.
We're gonna fix you.
There's no fixing. I appreciate it. I appreciate all these talents. Like, I say to myself, wow.
But you have your own.
No, I know, but I'm saying, like, I love that he has that. Isn't that so attractive? That's so attractive.
Yeah, it is.
Yes. And that's what I'm saying. Like,
I love him.
And there's something about that.
But I'm not jealous of it, and I don't want it.
No, I'm not jealous. Please don't misunderstand. I'm not jealous. I don't want to be him.
I'm just checking you out.
I'm saying, like, I love that he has that. Like, what a cool personality,
I love
right?
Leo. Yes, he's my fave. And Christopher is like my Leo Sceki.
I have a close friend who loves him. She absolutely loves him.
Yeah. Listen, Christopher, what I love about Chris is he didn't wake up with the aspirations to be a politician. This is born out of his work that he's done in the community. Is he a flawed individual? 100%. I love that he's flawed. I hate people that act a certain way like they're better than everybody else because they aren't. Like, they're hiding their flaws. Yeah. Christopher's are all out there. I love the fact that they were trying to rake him through the coals right now and say, well, let's answer all of these questions. And I'm going to come right out and tell you, I'll give you some tea. I'm the one that told him, take the questions from Fall River Reporter and release them yourself. Don't give them the clicks and the views. Take the questions, write your answers, and then put them out yourself, because then they can't say, oh, well, here's our big story and here's the stuff. And he did it, and he put it out on his platform, and he stole that moment from them because they're not authentic. Florida Reporter is the news right now, and they shouldn't be the news. They should be talking about the news and sharing the news, but they're making themselves about the news. Oh, I can't get into the police department. They won't give me access. Oh, they're not coming to my debate. Okay, like, stop your complaining. Stop. Okay, you're like one bad day away from being deplatformed. That's my take on that. Christopher's authentic. He has fucked up. I love that he has. I talk about growth. I mean, you guys want to drag up a bankruptcy thing from like 20 years ago or something. That's insane.
Yeah, but that's what this is, though.
Half the people in this city can't afford to pay their rent. Half the people in this city have had financial struggles or didn't have like a solid foundation or a family to teach them the right way to live. Like, I think it's endearing that he shares his story. Do I think it's right that they're dragging him now when he steps up? Listen, you know what I tell him? Every text, and he'll show you, every text is, if you did not have a chance of even impacting this eletion, nobody would talk about you.
They wouldn't say anything.
So absorb that and say, you know what? I love that they're coming at me. I love it. I must be making a difference here. And so I think he's really strong. I think he needs a team of people around him. He doesn't have a solid team because, again, he wasn't aspiring to be a politician. When you're just kind of like by default going, hey, I guess I've got to step up. Well, you don't have people around. You have customers because you're selling shit every day, and that's why people like you. People aren't around him to like say, hey, let's run your campaign. I know, he's trying to make a solid campaign go of it right now, and I do think that's very important, that he has some structure to a campaign. I don't think you can win a campaign without it. And it's unfortunately the game. And, I'm one that's saying make the rules, find your own path. There are some things I just don't think you can change. And unfortunately, in my experience, in order to win elections, you must have some structure and do a certain number of things. So he needs that. And I hope he has a team that can get him there.
Well, I know he just agreed to do the debate.
Yes.
And I'm glad that he did. Because, honestly, we were talking, I'm like, I don't think you can win without one. Like, I mean, I think if you're going to allow your opponent to go up there and speak for an hour, 2 hours, whatever that may be, I think it's a huge disadvantage. So I'm glad that he decided to. I think Carlos decided to pull out. He's not going to do the debate. And so I imagine it's him and Boomer.
And Coogan. I mean, the issue here is you had a clear example of bias with Joe Good posting her text message as a comment. And so, I don't know how he could be trustworthy to pull off a debate. And so let me just give you an example. So Joe Good puts a comment, thinks it's a private text, and it's obviously got bias. She's obviously attacking him in this personal text.
And the grandeur.
Making fun of him and all of these things like that. How do you know that Joe Good isn't going to give the questions from the debate to Paul Coogan? Where is the character? Where is the integrity? And I don't know if you can trust it. So I understand where he was, and he was saying, listen, I'm not going into that fire pit. How do I know? I'm going to get screwed. They clearly don't like me. They're right. So I was on board with him saying, yeah, I'm not going to do it. My default response was, if Coogan does it, do it. But just go in and be relaxed. And you know what? If there's a question that they're trying to get you on or whatever,
I'll get back to you.
Spin it. You could say any, you know what I mean? Be like, you know what? Well, I don't have the answer to that. But by the way, Joe, why did you say this and this and this about? I mean, you've got to have a little confidence. I think he's got confidence. So.
Well, this is all new, right? Like nobody's practicing to be the mayor.
Correct.
Like it's just that this is something that you don't.
Correct.
You have no idea the magnitude of issues that come along.
Well, Paul Coogan wasn't born a mayor.
Right.
I mean, he's a high school principal. That's what he says. Nobody was born a mayor. Will Flanagan wasn't born a mayor. No politician, unless there's some sort of generational shit going on there, was born a politician.
Right.
Nobody, I mean, maybe they're born into wealth, maybe they're born into status or whatever, but in this city, that doesn't make a difference. And you've seen that with Jazel Carrere. You've seen that with Will Flanagan. Will Flanagan's name isn't even Will Flanagan. It's Billy Silvia. Like, he changed his name. I don't know if... his name's not even Will Flanagan. I used to work with the boy at Stop and Shop. His name is not Will Flanagan.
I didn't know that.
Surprise. So, like, nobody's born a politician. So, why does Paul Coogan get this blanket like, well, it's a tough job? And Paul was talk about nepotism. His whole family had a job in this city. You know what I mean? So he was not a politician. Nobody's born a politician, and I don't think there's anything that precludes somebody from being a politician. Look at Jazel Career. Jazel's out, by the way. I posted a picture. Jazel was at the registry, Fall River Deeds today. Our boy is free, everybody.
Free at last.
Free at last.
Free at last.
Our boy is out.
Jesus. Free at last.
I'm so excited. Talk about. I love Jazel.
Right.
Don't care.
Yeah.
Don't give a fuck.
Yeah.
Look at Buddy Cianci. Same type of charges, same type of sentence. Did jail time, came back out, and brought back the renaissance of
the only mayor
Providence.
around with a surplus. You know what I mean? And,
listen.
Right.
I think the people that surrounded Jazel were terrible asshole people, and I think he was really young. And that did play in it. While it was great to have that fresh face and those new ideas and somebody that told Ken Fiola to get the fuck out of here, I love that about him. Yeah. It was a disadvantage because he was susceptible to bad people being around. I mean, Dave Heber was one of his people around him. Dave Heber is the biggest scumbag in the city. And this is somebody that the mayor considered part of his team. Oh, wow. This is somebody he was with. Ill-advised.
So they didn't have his best day. They didn't have his best.
No, and I mean, listen, do I want him to be mayor again? Yes. do I think he will be? I don't know, maybe.
Oh, wow.
What's corrupt? I mean, listen, I get it. And I know I'm going to get roasted for that. But there's corruption going on everywhere in the city right now while that man's been in jail. And it is what it is. And listen, Buddy Cianci did the same shit and came out, got elected again, and turned Providence around. And people loved him. Do I think that Jazel is as beloved as Buddy Cianci?
No.
I don't. He's too young and he didn't have his foot in the door long enough. But I love some of the things that he did. It was a really...
At least some of it made it to the citizens, right? Now none of it's making it to the citizens. You know what I mean?
I like that he didn't... Listen, he fired Ken Fiola. I just did his whole story about Ken Carroll Fiola.
I saw that.
Bobby, what, is anybody going to talk about this? What?
Yes, let's talk about it.
I don't know if you want to.
Oh my God. Can you I just don't understand. How does nobody...
You can't nod your head, Dave.
How does nobody see this? It's so obvious. It's so obvious. How does nobody see this?
It's crazy to me. Carol Fiola is our state representative. So, and her husband, Ken Fiola, owns a nonprofit here. It's called Jobs for Fall River. It's also called the Bristol County Economic Development
this is the shit I love about you. This is the stuff that I love you right. Yes.
Do you want me to teach you how to do public records
requests? Yes, let's do it.
So Carol Fiola puts a bill out there, and she wants this bill to take the land over on Duval Street that's been under construction. That land is owned by the Department of Transportation, the Mass DOT, and the Redevelopment Authority in Fall River. The Redevelopment Authority isn't like a Fall River city business. It's like a sub-business. It's a weird thing. It's not a city department, but it's like a subsidiary of the city. And they have an office at City Hall. And the RDA, which is what they're known as, and the DOT own all of this land right? So now all this land is flattened out and it looks beautiful. And who's going to develop it? And who sells it? And who makes the decision on who sells it? Well, the Redevelopment Authority and the Mass DOT. The Redevelopment Authority has the Ken Fiola Company, which is a consultant, Jobs for Fall River, economic development consultant, and they pay him $6,500 a month to basically tell the Redevelopment Authority what to do. So Ken Fiola is in charge of whatever the RDA does. If you go back and you watch their meetings, the Redevelopment Authority meetings, which I've gone and watched, not all of them, Ken Fiola is at every one, and he's basically dictating what's going on. They've got a board, but they're puppets. They don't make real decisions. Ken Fiola is running the show, okay? Carol Fiola goes and puts a bill in, and it is to turn over that land from the DOT exclusively to the Redevelopment Authority. Well, the Redevelopment Authority is essentially in business with your husband.
Right.
How is your husband not going to profit from this? Right. And so I think that's an issue.
Yeah.
And then when I started looking into that and I started looking at more bills, I asked AI. I said to AI, I talk to Chat GPT every day.
Me too, Charlie.
And it calls me Bestie. Yeah. And I'm like, Bestie, can you tell me, has Carol Fiola introduced any other bills that involve the Office of Economic Development or Jobs for Fall River? And it found one. And it was like, oh yeah, the state pier. So she wanted the state pier to get all of this wind initiative stuff. Who runs the state pier? The Redevelopment Authority. I mean, Ken Fiola, not the RDA. Ken Fiola. And I'm going, well, what do you know? So I made this little video and put all those things together, and it went crazy on Twitter or X or whatever.
That's
and people
God's
were like,
work.
how did we
Jess,
not know?
That's God's work right there.
Yeah,
I'm
God's work. You
telling
should have saw me in my bathroom on the first floor because I have birds and dogs and they're all chirping and I'm trying to record the audio and I was like, can everybody just shut the fuck up? I got to expose Ken and Carol. And I roll the thing. And anyway, so I made this video. bit by bit, little bit by little bit. And I think that's the kind of stuff that makes voters think when they vote. Or maybe when they get into a voting booth and they go, wait a second, I remember Jess Machado did a story about Carol Fiola. I'm not voting for her.
It doesn't sound right. It just doesn't sound right.
Yeah.
It doesn't sound right. And anybody with that much control and there's no oversight, it's kind of... It's kind of obvious, you know what I mean? And I think it's, I mentioned it in the previous episode, just because you didn't get caught doesn't mean it's okay. You know what I mean? And I think it's gotten to the point where if you do it enough times, like that, the first time you steal something, you get that adrenaline. By the 10th time, you're not getting the adrenaline
I know
anymore.
nothing about that.
You know what I mean? Yeah, we don't steal anything. We don't steal anything.
Taking something from this room, you can bet your ass on that.
So funny. That's so great. So please.
They're called souvenirs. I don't know
souvenirs.
Have you seen my show?
Souvenirs.
Okay, all right. Show and tell.
That's perfect. Perfect. So... here we are.
Yeah.
Here you are.
Right.
New live show.
Yes.
Every Saturday.
Yep.
What's the next 5 years looking for you? Like, what are you thinking?
As much as I love, I have some bucket list things and goals that I've always been just, I'm one person away from being on Barstool in some way. Erin and I are huge stoolies. We've been for forever. We've been very much invested in Barstool for many years. Mm-hmm. And I'm like one person away from that. You know what I mean? Like, and I've always felt I had something to offer them because I'm almost 50.
That's right. I just remembered something about you. I just remembered something. We'll talk after the show. We'll talk about it. Go ahead. No, nothing bad. Funny. Funny. You mentioned Barstool.
Oh.
Yeah. Go ahead. Go ahead. Nobody knows what I'm talking about.
So I know because you're not telling me. That's rude. I've always felt there's a demographic on Barstool of 40 to 55-ish people. Mm-hmm. We're there. You know what I mean? Like Jerry Thornton, who's a big sports writer in Massachusetts. He works for Barstool. I talked to Jerry, through the Karen Reed thing. Yeah. I always felt like there's something there. Yeah. I just don't know what it is yet. Yeah, Jerry. Yeah. I fangirl over Jerry that he even messages me is wild. Like I was like, what? So that some sort of bucket list goal is to Erin and I almost drove to Barstool one day.
Really?
Well, because I was looking to cover the Karen Reed trial as an independent journalist this time. And I was like, I made up a deck of what I could do and what I could offer. And I shipped it out to a bunch of different companies. The Daily Wire actually said, okay, we'll have you report.
Okay.
But I didn't have courtroom access every day. And that's what they wanted. And there was like a lottery system to get in there. So I wasn't able to do it. But I was like, we could drive this deck up to New York and go into Barstool and say like, hey, you guys want me to do it? But then Jerry was doing it. I was like, fuck, I can't go against Jerry. Yeah. So I'd like in some way, somehow to write for Barstool at some point. I would love that.
That's amazing.
I do freelance writing. I mean, 5 years for me is to be able to have a revenue stream where I can buy a new car. I mean, I drive my daughter's old car. It's 22 years old. Yeah.
But life's going to change for you, right, in the next 5 years, right? Your kids are adults, right?
They're almost there.
Right? There's so much that's going to change for you.
I really love what I'm doing right now. I like talking and I like writing. Yeah. And if that's enough where I don't have to go and get a real job, I'd be okay. If I have to leave this and go get a real job, if it's not paying off, I'd still like to be on radio in some capacity and talk. I love doing it.
You're always welcome here.
Thank you. I don't like this. I don't like cameras as a radio girl. I like that anonymity.
I hate it. Yeah. I keep telling them, I don't want to do the video. I just want to do the audio. This is a face for audio. I don't want to be doing this.
Yeah, me too. Mm-hmm. I'm not good for it.
Absolutely. I'm with you. I 100% agree with you.
Right.
100%. But if you don't do this, you don't survive. Like this is...
Listen, this was my fans wanted it. Like I was writing, and after we were done with Karen Reed, I picked up the Substack a little bit more. I'm doing these things, and everybody was like, can you get on YouTube already? Can you start talking? I was like, no. I was so reluctant. Yeah. And Erin was like, you got to do it. And I was like, I don't know. I don't have a space. I can't do it in my house. And a friend of mine owns a business in Fall River. Anyway, I talked to a friend in the morning, and she's like, I was stressed out. I was like, I don't know what I'm doing. It's not enough money in this. Like, I don't know. And she's like, what do you need? Like, what do you need? And I went, I need a studio. And she's like, oh, I don't know. Calls me like an hour later, and she goes, I need you to go down to here and go and meet this person. And I was like, what? And she goes, like today? And she's like, yeah. And I went an hour later in flip-flops and shorts and a tank top. And I met my friend Jeff, who owns a business in Fall River. And he handed me a key, him and his business partner. And he said, here you go. We're going to go for a walk. Walked me upstairs into the space that's now my studio. It was a storage space. It's
beautiful. I love it. I love what you did. I love it.
Thank
you.
It looks great. All Erin. Yeah. It's all Erin's vision. That's
looks
for
great.
Sure.
Looks great.
And he said, here you go. And I said, well, I can't afford this. He says, no, just I want you to work and have fun and enjoy it.
There.
He's like, I believe in what you did. He lived in town with me. He saw the journey with all of the political stuff. And he's like, I love your work. And so we took that little space and in a little bit of time. And then we had it all, and I was like, oh, now do I actually have to do the show? I don't think I want to do the show.
Right.
And then we did the show, and I was like, oh, that was kind of fun.
Yeah.
And then, I mean,
I have
like
my moments.
you want to be here all the time.
Yeah,
I love it.
Yeah, I have my moments. But there were times too where I'm like, oh, just editing this stuff, it just takes forever.
Yeah.
But I'm at the preface now where I have to hire people. Like David's kind enough to help me out, and
Right.
of course I'll make them rich once I get there.
Yeah.
But it's finding the right people, and
Yeah.
I think you can have a vision, you can have a dream,
Yep.
but not everybody wants what you want, and
I have Erin.
Right?
I mean, Erin is like my biggest cheerleader. She believes in me when I don't believe in myself.
Mm-hmm.
She forces me. We have like this. We've only fought once, I think, ever, and the fight was in regards to court. Actually,
Oh, wow.
she wanted me to do something, and I didn't want to do it,
Yeah.
and she was right, and I didn't do it. Erin lost her job because of me.
Oh, wow.
When we were fighting for stuff in the school department, they
wow.
fired her. She worked
Wow.
there, and they fired her. Erin.
I gotta find me some true friends. Ain't nobody getting fired for me.
Oh, Erin, I mean, I put a little,
I can't fire him. He works for free.
I think about, you said that, but I mean, I'm not sure if I didn't have Erin, if I would even be doing what I'm doing. She has a really great way of saying, like, I don't want to overstep,
Yeah.
but I'm going to tell you this is what you need to do. Don't get upset.
Yeah,
Take it as you want. She's like passive aggressive, but also in a way where it's like, I don't think I have an option.
She's
Like I
planting the
have to
seed.
do it.
Yeah, once
And
she plants
like,
the seed, it's in there.
well,
Yeah.
I think it's rooted, and I don't want to let her down sometimes.
Yeah,
like,
right.
you know what I mean?
Right.
Like,
Yeah, because you say to yourself, she's committing her time to support
she
you.
has no reason to. She doesn't need to do it. And so
I totally get that.
Yeah,
I totally
mean,
get that. Yeah, I totally get that.
Yeah.
You guys look beautiful together, by the way. I can see
This
the
is
energy.
great.
No, you guys have amazing energy.
She's
Yeah.
so reluctant to do anything, but she's been jumping on the show, and
Yeah.
you'll see in the comments, everybody loves her.
Yes.
And like, we're so different. Like, it's just, I don't know, it works. I couldn't do it without Erin. And my goal always, 5-year goal is to make enough money where I can pay her and she can quit her job, and we can do this every day.
I love that. I love that. That's so fantastic.
Yeah.
You know, and she's a great wingman. Like you see, like that background. She's like your with Joe Rogan, right? What is it, Jimmy? Is
Yeah.
it Jimmy? She's
Yeah.
your Jimmy. Right? And I got my Jimmy.
Yeah.
And and I tell you, if David wasn't here supporting me, sometimes you kind of wonder. You're
Yeah.
like, gee, you know what? And I'll say this just to be honest, because
Wait, are you going to get emotional?
No, I just sometimes you get mad, right? Don't you get mad sometimes?
At
like
what?
I just the process because
No.
it's not moving fast enough. It's
No.
not going the way you want it to go.
I mean,
You're
I
not
get-
getting like I am very difficult to please. Like I have certain standards. Like and I always say this, if
Well,
you
that's ironic. It's 100 degrees in here.
I
What
know.
do you mean?
Well, I'm going to find my landlord. I say to myself, if you can't do it, if I can do it better than you can, then I don't need you. Like I don't want to sound like a jerk when I say that.
Say
but
that again?
if I can do it better than you can, then
Yeah.
I don't need you.
Okay.
Like, I need people that are going to be around me doing it better than I can do it.
Okay.
And that's the part that I struggle with. That's the
Okay.
part that everybody wants to help, but truly, do you really know what's involved? Like,
Right.
if I call you at 2:00 in the afternoon and say, "Hey, bro, I got an episode at 3:00. Can you make it?" And you can't. Well, you can't. I get it. But
Right.
then that means, are you truly committed, right? And I see,
Right.
like, you have a relationship here where you're like, "Hey, girl, I need you to be here right now." And she's like, "All right, well, I'll be there. I'll come pick you up." And I see it's the ride or die. It's finding that someone that isn't emotionally attached to you, like a husband or a wife, but
Yep.
it's a friend that truly cares about your success and your journey. It's hard to find. It's hard to find.
I agree.
Yeah, but you have to see it. Like you have to believe in her. Like you believe in everything she's saying. If you didn't believe in her, then you wouldn't be supporting her. And those are the things that touch me. Like, these guys have to believe in what I'm saying. I'm just one man with a vision and a dream saying, guys, please come along with me on this journey. Like, I just believe that we can do this. I
Yep.
believe that we can make a difference.
Yep.
If you told me 5 years ago that I'd be here doing this, talking to you,
Yep.
like that, again, it's not even a vision.
What's
that,
your 5-year goal?
right? So my 5-year goal is obviously like I love
This is my interview now.
Yeah, I love this place. I love being here. This is great energy. It was a great start for me here. But I see myself in a bigger space, much
Yeah.
larger space. And what I'd like to do is offer this to the community. I want to create podcast space for people to come in and maybe even start a show or maybe just have ideas. And it doesn't always have to be like this scripted, 10 series. Maybe you just want to come in.
Yeah.
How much, I always find that when people come in and sit down and we like mess around, hey, I'll record your voice. People love it.
Yeah.
I've had people sit down and go, wow, this is so cool. I never knew
course.
this was like this.
Yeah.
And I think if you could expose that to people,
Yep.
I think that's the business model, right? But this, for me, I just want to keep doing this right here.
Yeah.
I want to find people like you
Yep.
that have found their dreams and are determined.
Mhm.
And unwaverable and are determined to do this right and just want to make a difference. It's not about CNN. It's not about Fox. It's not about, I always say these people in news now, they're all actors. Like none of these people are journalists.
Right.
They say they're not. You guys are not journalists. You're people on TV with a big smile pretending like everything is great.
They have no control over what
None.
they say or do. I worked on the side of them, and some of them are really nice people.
Yeah.
The majority of them are raging liberals.
Yeah. But are they though? Like, are you good people? If you're lying, if you're saying shit that ain't true, are you a good person?
It's their job. It's their job. It's their job.
I have a tough time accepting that.
I know some really great people. I met Sue O'Connell. She works for NBC. She covered the 1 and 2 with me. And I remember the very first day I worked with her. I knew who she was. Big wig at NBC up in Boston. I knew who she was. Yeah. And I remember I was live tweeting from a pretrial conference for Karen Reed. And she had a notebook. And she was not live tweeting. And she was like, what are you doing? And I was like, I'm live tweeting what I see. And I'm seeing it. And then I'm typing it. And she's like, and people are following you? And I was like, yeah. And she did not know what she was doing. The second pretrial conference I saw her, I knew what was on the docket that day. And she was like, where did you get that? And I was like, oh, I just went to this TurtleBoy website and somebody gets the docket first thing in the morning and posts it. Now, they can't use that as their source. But she was like, oh. And I gave it to her. And she treated me with kindness and respect and was like, she knew I was an independent journalist. Or I was working for Fall Reporter Time. She didn't know who they were. Yeah. Always treated me really great. And I got to know her over the course of time. And sometimes I feel like it doesn't line up with Sue because I think she is a really great person with a lot of integrity. I don't trust mainstream media anymore. And that changed for me during the 2020 election. I remember being at home during COVID and this whole thing about the Hunter Biden laptop, and every news media outlet either didn't talk about it or said it wasn't legit. And on Twitter, I found a link to the whole laptop and all the contents. And I'm in my bed during COVID and I'm looking at these messages and I'm going, this is real. But then I went to NBC and they're like not talking about it. And I'm going, this is real. Like, and that was it. That was the day and I grew up with Tom Brokaw in the background.
Me too.
I love the news.
Yes.
I've always been a news girl. I used to watch the Weather Channel, for hours and just watch the whole thing on repeat.
Cantori over and over again.
He was such a smoke show back then too.
Right.
I've always wanted to be in news and broadcasting. I wanted to be a news anchor my whole life. Yeah. And I had I was enamored with news and those people. And that changed me. And I said, I don't believe them anymore. Right. And I felt lied to and deceived. And so when you ask why I do it, there's got to be an alternative. There has to be somebody else that is willing to say, okay, well, here. And my reputation didn't just come to me. I had to earn it. And it was through one little story at a time, one thing, saying it, and then always bring the receipts. My inbox is full of stories. I get calls from people all the time. Can you expose this or this happened? A lot of them are people that need help. Some of them aren't even right on the right side of things. I only pick, those kinds of things if I can bring a receipt, and I can say, well, we've got this, or, there's a lot of people that, I need more of me. I say it all the time. I need 10 more Jesses all around the state. I need a whole team. I say all the time, there's got to be somebody out there with a lot of money that wants to fund this. Do you not want to change elections? Do you not want to make a difference? You need more people like me writing these stories 100%. And exposing this stuff. 100%. And so if this reaches someone with big pockets, I'll spend your money wisely. I'll hire a team. I'll bring Erin on board full time. We'll do this for, and make a difference. I really truly believe, and it's a shared accomplishment with Fall River Reporter. I believe that we changed the election in Fall River. For the first time in the history of the city, it voted in the majority for a Republican president. I believe that was through our reporting and our work. And the thing is, if we weren't reporting on it, every other news source down here would have just been the same mainstream media. And voters would have never seen. It's almost like, Bobby, they don't trust you to make your own decision when you get in the voting box. Because if they did, they would just let everybody read and see everything and then make a decision. They don't trust their candidates because they suck. They don't trust their platform because it's rooted in corruption and them getting rich. And they don't trust the voter to believe their lies. And so they've controlled. It's so smart. It's so smart.
Oh, yeah.
And
so the question is, how do you fix it? So is it possible? I guess the question is it possible? Because I like when you say these are flawed men, because they all are. We all are. Yeah. Men are flawed, right? And so my stance is, I'm not expecting a perfect mayor. That's not what I'm expecting. But I'm expecting someone who's smart enough to know he or she needs to surround themselves with the smartest people, right? I don't have to know how to be a plumber, but I know a really good plumber, right? That idea. And do you think that that's the direction? Like that? Do you think that's what Chris is really like latching onto to say, hey, listen, I'm gonna build a team around me to secure this, and because otherwise you can't do it. Like I keep saying, and I mentioned to him, like, dude, where do you even start? Like, the corruption is so deep.
Right.
Like, where do you even start? When I think about the incinerator.
Fire everybody on day one.
The incinerator.
Fire them all.
How crazy is that? The incinerator.
Listen, it's just, there's so many things.
Right.
Fire them all on day one. You get rid of everybody and you start over. He needs a team. I mean, so the other thing too, also, there's two things I want to say. The first is, I don't believe there's any candidate right now that could do the job that I think needs to be done in this city. There is a candidate out there, I know, that maybe it's not the right time, but they could make a change and make a difference and lead the way that we need. I think Christopher is the best. Do I think Boomer Amaral is the right candidate? I know you had him on a show. I mean, listen, I'm not trying to make friends with Boomer. Boomer is my state committee man, okay? So, and, you know, I'm not going to sit here and not say this. Boomer was elected on the ballot to be our state committee man. Okay. He ran against somebody and he won an election. His job as a state committee man, in case you don't know, is every party in the state, Democrat and Republican, has a state party, a state committee. Okay. So the Mass GOP is ours and the Democratic Party for the state. Okay. So you have a leader of that. We have a chairwoman in our party. It's Amy Carnevale. I don't know who it is on the Dem side. Underneath Amy are state committee members. And so for every Senate district in the state, you elect a man and a woman, Republican, to oversee all of the Republican town committees or city committees. You also have Democratic town committees and city committees. And those people, their job is to hold meetings once a quarter and help get Republicans elected or Democrats elected. I'm the chairwoman of my committee in Somerset. So I have one in Somerset. We meet every month and we find candidates and then we help get them elected to office in Somerset. And we just had a wildly successful run at that. We had some serious wins that I won't burden everybody with, but we win.
That's fantastic.
In Somerset.
That's great. That's huge.
It's life-changing.
Yes.
It changes everything. We ousted a 24-year-long incumbent in the Democratic...
Well, wouldn't you talk about that? I want to hear it. Come on.
Sure.
We got time.
Sure, Bobby.
Come on.
Pat Haddad was the long-term Democratic state representative for the 5th Bristol District. She represents Somerset, Dighton, and a piece of Taunton, okay? Just the way the districts are. Pat Haddad was a gym teacher in Somerset, and then she became a school committee member. And then she parlayed that into becoming state representative. And for 24 years, she was the state representative in that area as a Democrat. I don't know if anybody ever ran against her,
That's a long
but
time.
she stayed in office that whole time. And I believe that everybody thought Pat Haddad would stay there until she was ready to pass the torch on to her successor. We had a gentleman by the name of Justin Thurber, not this cycle, but the cycle before, decide to run against her. No political experience, had never run for office before, skipped over the school committee, skipped over the select board, and said, I'm going to go straight for state rep. I think I can do this. He's a veteran, and he decided, like, I want change. He's a Republican. He ran and came very close for someone with no money, and I'm talking no money. So campaign coffers for Patricia Haddad were in the tens of thousands of dollars. And Justin Thurber had a couple $1,000s and he came very, very close. So after that win or for Patricia, we were all wondering if Justin was going to do it again. And we were really excited that he said yes. And so he ran this past cycle and he beat her.
Oh, wow.
And I'm just going to say this. Okay. Nothing beats the feeling or the euphoria when you are literally at a voting location and getting voting numbers coming in and the tallies are coming in and you're writing them down and you're adding them up and you're typing on your phone and you're adding them and you're leaned over and you're counting and you look on that paper and you realize that you fucking did it and your candidate won. That is a feeling that first of all, I'm very lucky to have experienced as a supporter and someone that has helped my candidates. But number two, what a win. And it feels like nothing you've ever experienced. There's nothing like winning elections. And that win was an extraordinary win. It was so meaningful to root out these same
Well, you're
people.
24 years of this, right?
But this woman is connected to the same people that put me through what I was put through.
Oh, okay.
So we play the long game in Somerset, okay? And and that's what I was saying. We going online and putting up Facebook posts and complaining about people or putting up memes, it gets maybe a good reaction in that moment and maybe makes me feel good. But the real feeling good is getting her out of office and getting every one of her cronies out of office, which we did successfully at the next election.
Right.
And we won the election after that. And it's winning and getting these people out of there and putting people with a backbone and integrity in office. Maybe not perfect, maybe aren't going to be there forever, but it is a far better option than what we had. And that win and getting Justin Thurber in there, Pat Haddad outspent him, I think, 4-1.
Oh, wow.
He barely raised the money, but he ran a great campaign, and he talked about her voting record and just showed everybody and said, you know what? This is what she's been doing.
People are like, wow, are you kidding?
And
right?
you know what? He took that message out. He never stopped. And he won. And so, so back to Boomer.
Yeah.
Our Republican town committee supported Justin Thurber in that race.
Okay.
And then we subsequently ran some candidates and won Board of Selectmen seats and assisted other people in running for office. Over me, Boomer Amaral is the person that governs my Republican town committee.
Okay.
I've never seen Boomer except for the day that we started our committee. He does not do his job as a state committee man. I've never seen him. He does not act as a state committee man. He does not attend state committee meetings. He's completely absent. And I feel, why are you running for an office now when you've already been elected to one? We elected you and you're not even doing that job. Now, state committee doesn't pay. There's no money, but it's an important role. Because in this area where we have the highest Trump vote in the state, Bristol County,
Momentum. We mentioned it earlier, right? Momentum.
Yeah, you are at the helm of this whole area and you're absent. You're not doing anything. And that stagnant space and time leaves an opportunity for Democrats to come in and build. Jake Auchincloss was here in Fall River today or yesterday. He was here a couple of months ago. He called me and asked me to interview him. And when I asked him why, he said he understands. Fall River got it wrong, according to him. And they voted for Trump, and he needs to strengthen his base here. And if you don't have a Republican leader kind of getting everybody in line and saying, where are your candidates? What do you need? Let's run some elections. I mean, so I don't have faith in him because he's let me down on that level. Maybe he shouldn't have run for state committee. I don't know, but you're currently holding an office that you're not fulfilling. So I don't think he's the right candidate. Carlos Caesar, I also don't think he's the right candidate. I think that he's had many years of activism, but for what? If I had that many years under my belt and no accomplishments, I would just fucking hang it up, or find a candidate and support that candidate. Christopher has a great vision. He has great heart. And I think he sees what some of these other guys don't see. But I think he has been too preoccupied with his business and he's being pulled. Now, I think running for office once and not winning and then coming back and running again like Justin did. And Ian Abreu, by the way, in New Bedford. Ian Abreu lost 3 consecutive times and won the 4th time he ran for city council there. And now he's like beloved. Everybody loves him. I'm like, what took you all so long? I don't really love Ian's politics, but I appreciate that he tried. So if Christopher doesn't get there, I would hope that he would try and go again. And then maybe learn some things. Listen, I've had a candidate that I wanted to run, somebody in Fall River that I think that could blow the socks off of everybody, and he just doesn't want to do it.
I'm not ready to run yet.
You're not ready?
No, I'm kidding. So, funny story. I was talking to someone the other day. I happened to be at Morgan's Cantina. Okay. And I really enjoy talking to people, especially this time, like just kind of mingling with people you don't know.
Yep.
And I ended up speaking to someone who's pretty important in the city, and I had no idea who he was.
Tell me who it is.
I'll tell you after. Let me tell you the story first. Can I tell you the story first, and then I'll tell you who it is?
I'll talk about Erin later. I'll tell you. Go ahead. I guess you're going to get less of a reaction from me, but go ahead.
All right. Okay. So
I'm not impressed.
I'm going to tell you who it is. I'll tell you who it is.
Sign language.
So I said to him,
who is it? Write it on a paper and turn it. Give him a pen and have him write. No, stop. You can't. We're not going forward. Come whisper it to me. Give it to me. Text. I need it. I need to know.
It's okay.
We're breaking all the rules here. I'm sorry.
I'll just say it's Todd. It was Todd. Todd. You know Todd?
Todd who?
Todd, who owns Lion Gate Realty.
Okay.
Todd. You know Todd. All right? There you go. I just said it. All right?
Fine.
Take your whiteboard.
I feel better.
So I'm sitting there, and I don't know Todd. I've never met him before.
Okay.
And I'm sitting there with Gary. How to be out with Gary?
Yep.
With all his negativity. And so I was a couple of drinks in, and we're talking, and then, obviously we start talking politics because somebody actually came over and said, "Hey, are you Bobby Kudo?" I'm like, "Oh yeah, first time, right?" I'm like, "Oh, so cool." Great work.
Wait, did you love that?
I really did. Yeah. I got a little chubby.
Feels
I was
good,
excited.
right?
Yeah, I was like, all right. But anyway, I said,
You're not supposed to get aroused by it.
I was totally aroused by it. You have no idea. Yeah, you have no idea. We do it all the time. We talk about it all the time. So anyway, that's a bunny episode.
I knew you were going to say that.
So
that's a members only.
Members
podcast.
only. I'd love to be on that. I would do that. So anyway, we're talking.
I didn't invite you.
Let me get my story. I didn't say. I said I would love to do that. I didn't say I was invited, but you shouldn't invite me. But anyway, so I'm talking to this guy. Let me get to my story. So I'm talking to this guy, and I said, "So what do you think of the candidates?" And he said to me, he goes, "Bobby, I hope he doesn't mind me saying this." He goes, "Bobby, I'm a bottom feeder." He goes, "I'm at the bottom." He goes, "And I know exactly how to play the game I play, and I don't want anybody fucking with that." He goes, "So the person that's in place right now works perfectly fine for me."
Edit this out. Edit that out. What?
That's exactly what he said.
And do not broadcast.
I'm telling you, listen to me. And I said to myself, wow, I had no idea that was even a stance. And he wasn't saying it in a negative light.
Right.
He's saying that, hey man, I do my thing, bro, and it works really well for me, and I know the system that's in place.
Right.
He goes, so I don't want to mess with that. I don't want somebody new in here. I don't want.
Well, he's in self-preservation mode, I guess.
But I didn't see that. I didn't see that angle. Like, I'm seeing the angle of everybody wants change, right? Everybody's sick of the potholes in the city. Like, nobody wants to drive in this garbage anymore. Nobody wants to see the Fiolas get super, super rich.
Right.
But at the end of the day, you got people out there going, hey, man, this works for me. I'm doing just fine. My life is good. And I have to respect that. Like,
if there is a need for change and it's palpable, there will be change. We recalled Will Flanagan. I was a part of that recall. Yeah. I was, holding signs in front of
you and Jordan hanging out for that?
That's when I did like Jordan in the beginning, and I thought it went too far after the recall. We are.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we are.
Okay, all right.
But I wrote a post on Facebook at the time, and I said the death of Threw Up in Fall River. Because that was the page when everything was happening. And I basically was like, it's time to fucking end this. Like, it's done. It's time to move on. You got him out of there, whatever. Yeah. And I became like an enemy at the time to all those people. But again, I say what I think. I say how I feel. It's rooted in whatever things I'm thinking or knowing or learning. And so I said it. But yeah, I mean, I have a lot of respect for Jordan. I interviewed Jordan when he was running for office when I was at BSM. It was one of the best interviews I've ever had.
I love him.
I remember he was only supposed to be on for an hour, and he was texting his wife and saying, I'm going to stay a little bit longer, because the conversation just kept going.
Right.
Again, nobody's perfect, and they're not the perfect candidate, but I think the pendulum's going to swing to the other side, where people want people that have a little bit of heart, and
personality.
Control.
Yes,
I think I'm going to give a little slack on some things, like in an operational sense, for somebody that has a little bit more heart, or that doesn't have the political connections. And I think voters may see that. It's a very small window of opportunity, I think, right now for change. I'm just going to say that. I think the next election, presidential election, is going to bring a whole new, different, group of people running for office. Some of those people are going to get some momentum. And so Fall River is in this little space right now where I think they can make some change. Listen, when you have a presidential election, and I'm just being a nerd when it comes to politics, a presidential election brings out a whole voting demographic that you don't normally see.
True.
And so in these off years like this one, where you don't even have your state representatives or your other higher offices on the ballot, this is a unique time to make change. Do I think anybody was prepared for that or understands that in the city? No.
Right.
And I think that's why we don't have candidates. I think Christopher stepped up because nobody else was good enough. But I think, I don't think he should have to do it. I think there should have been someone else that got involved. I think there should have been another candidate that maybe can or doesn't have a business.
Why wouldn't they? Why do you think they didn't throw the hat in the ring?
Well, the candidate that I wanted, he likes vacationing in Florida for January, February, and March.
That's a good
reason.
He's
retired. He's a business owner. It's my baby daddy. I don't have a problem saying it. I wanted, so my ex who used to own the St. James Irish Pub, Ron.
I love that place.
Yeah. So the guy that used to own it, Ron Travasos, is my daughter's father.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yep.
I didn't know that.
I know it takes a second for everybody to get. He's a lot older than me, but I was 22 and he was 44. That's a whole other story, Bobby.
Wow. Oh, wow.
But I think Ron is an exceptional candidate and would be a fantastic leader. I know he toyed with the idea maybe 6 or 7 years ago. And that was rooted in the frustration with city government and being a business owner and getting through the red tape and the politics. And, we used to say we owned businesses together. So we used to own Swedes Cafe, which is where Tequila Lime is now. So I ran Swedes. Ron ran the pub, and then his business partner owned the cigar store. But we owned other businesses together. And Ron is a phenomenal business owner. He just gets it. He understands it. He's disciplined, and he's had success with all of his businesses. And I think he just got so frustrated. And he used to say, every day somebody's here asking for a donation for a nonprofit or for an event. And, happy to donate, happy to do these things. But then I'm going to City Hall to try to get a liquor license for St. Patrick's Day outside. And I've got to go through this red tape, and people are giving me a hard time. And it's like, what the fuck? You know what I mean? Like, I want to make more money so I can give more money. Or by the way, what's wrong with people making money? Like, why do we have to hold people back? Like, Ron grew up in a project, just like me. I grew up in Watauga Heights. Ron grew up in a project too. For him to turn something around and poverty and divorce with his family and make something of himself.
Struggle to success, right?
There you go.
Yes.
You should get my baby daddy
I would
in
love
here.
that.
Oh my God, he's so great.
Let's do it.
Ron is so great. I love Ron. And Ron and I,
hold you to that.
we haven't been together since our daughter was, I think, 3. But we've co-parented together for years. That's a whole other thing, but for all of you women who have baby daddies, you can do it differently. You don't have to be angry at them. You can be friends with them.
What a great message. What a great message. I love that.
I'm friends with, I have multiple baby daddies. I have 2 of them. And I'm my poor husband now, the poor guy.
Jeff? Jeff.
Poor Jeff. When I met him, I was like, so by the way, I'm friends with both my exes. And he's like, how friends? And I was like, we spend Christmas together. And he's like, what the fuck? I, at my house at Christmas time, have had Ron and my other ex, Jason. I have my daughter with Ron, and then I have Jason as the dad of my 2, Georgia and Jack, and my husband, and they're all sitting around drinking. They all talk shit about me, but they all get along. And listen, it's not my kid's problem that I wasn't great in relationships back then. And I didn't grow up with my dad. Because of some of those same issues. My mother
we all suck in relationships. It was the era. There was an era.
It's all them. It's never been me. It's all them.
It's everybody else.
But I pride myself on being able, I'm sounding really snobby about it. I really pride myself on how I've co-parented with my exes. My kids don't have that weird anxiety.
That's great.
My kids never had to have that thing where like,
hey, I want to go to Dad's house. No, you don't want to go to Dad's house?
You know what?
Right.
Great.
Right.
And then my second ex, he had an issue with homelessness, and he was really struggling. And, my kids never knew that. I would just have him come to my house. Come hang out with Dad here. He went to jail, and I picked him up from jail. I bailed him out.
Wow.
My kids didn't know that, so they do now. Sorry, Jax. Sorry, Georgia. But they didn't know that. Like, my job is to make sure my kids love their dad and have a dad around and co-parenting with them.
And how are they doing now?
Wonderful.
Really?
I mean, my kids are my exes.
The exes.
Well, not as good as when they were with me, but they're doing great. I mean, listen, we're all really great friends.
So obviously we know your first baby daddy. We know he's successful. Your second baby daddy. Do you think that you had a part in how he's doing now? How well he's doing now?
That's another story for another day. But I do believe generational poverty can really hold someone back. So if you're a single guy right now in Fall River and you have 2 kids, and you have to pay child support, how the fuck are you able to afford anything? I'm just wondering. I'm just wondering. How can you afford an apartment, a car, and pay child support?
Yeah, but nobody's talking like this.
Well, it's
Jess,
true, though.
nobody's talking like this.
Right.
The judges, they bring the gavel down, and there's no sense of
And there's women that
reality.
are so ridiculous and greedy. I mean, there's been a point in time where I've foregone child support with my ex so he could get ahead, because if I didn't, he'd lose his license, and then he'd lose his license, and then he'd lose his job.
That's it.
And so there was a time where I said, okay, fine, we're just not going to do it. Right. It's a fine line. I don't want anybody to take advantage of me. And listen, there's been times where he hasn't stepped up, and I thought that he should have. But I believe in people supporting other people, and Jason doesn't have a family around him. Both his parents have passed on. He doesn't have any siblings. He's kind of out there on his own and going from relation to relationship where, at least he has a place to live and a place to stay, and it's maybe not the best thing. So do I think he's successful? He's got some stability. He hasn't been homeless for a while, which is great. But my job, honestly, was to protect my kids from feeling that.
Sure.
And, I've never pinned my kids up against their dads ever. It's the opposite. I usually take the hit and elevate them. You know what I mean? If something wasn't working out, it was me. And I don't care.
This is a self-decided Jess that people don't know. Honestly, people don't know this. And this is what I want people to see. You know, I see it when I read your stories. Like I say to myself, who is driven? Like someone has to be this driven to take the time to put this all out there. And you're doing it on your own dime. Like it's not, you know what I mean? Obviously,
my supporters really, finance my life doing this work now. But I mean, to speak to that, I grew up without my dad. So my mother and my father didn't get along, and my mother didn't do that.
Right.
And so I knew my father lived in Fall River. But I never knew who he was. And I always used to hear he looked like me or I looked like my dad.
So
and
now everywhere you go, you're like
looking to the Swansea Mall
like,
on a Saturday, and people would walk by me and I'd be like, I wonder if that's my dad. I didn't meet him until I was 19.
Oh, well. Were you disappointed?
My dad is a Vietnam Purple Heart.
Oh, that's amazing.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I was disappointed, but that's another story for another
day. Yeah,
time.
I mean, listen, my dad is a gambler, a fisherman, a drinker, a womanizer. Loved music, and I love all of those things. I don't want to absorb that whole lifestyle, but I have some of those characteristics.
Sure.
And everything in moderation. My dad's yearbook quote was, "He who does not love wine, women, or song remains a fool his whole life long." And I was like, how my father knew that at 18 and then literally lived that lifestyle.
Wow.
But my dad, again, in moderation. My dad was a veteran. He didn't get help for his PTSD from Vietnam. He was homeless. He was an alcoholic, and he died, from alcoholism alone. Homeless. And so my decision when I'm co-parenting to ensure a connection between my children and their father is rooted in me not having one with my dad. And so I'm glad I met him and super happy about getting to know him throughout my adult life. And he's great. I mean, I used to play poker with him. It was some of the best times I've ever had. But anyway, baby daddies, they have a hard job right now, especially in this day and age. And in this city, I don't know how guys can do it. And there's no support system for that, And so I haven't always been in the position where I could forego child support from my ex. But when I can, I have to help him get ahead. I mean, unfortunately for everybody else, my first baby daddy was rich and he took really good care of me. And, he used to say, I'm going to pay you so that you can stay home and raise the daughter that in the way we wanted to. We decided when we got together.
We're not going to have strangers raise our kids, right? Yeah, that was my concept too. Right, exactly.
And so, when we separated, he took very good care of me so that I could continue to raise his daughter that way. Then I got, with someone else and had 2 children. That didn't matter to him. This was still about me raising our daughter the way that we planned on raising. And, I just had my son's graduation party. He graduated from high school and Ron came. Came and wrote my son a little check and said good luck. And,
awesome.
He wants my daughter's siblings to thrive and do well.
Your family.
Do you want me to
tell
you a really good story about him? This is why he should be mayor. And I know he'll hate this.
I'd love to hear it.
So my daughter, when she was in 8th grade, my youngest one, so not Ron's daughter, my ex's daughter, she was going on a trip to Washington, D.C. through school. It was like $1,300. And my daughter's father said, I'm going to pay for the trip. I said, okay, because he wasn't paying child support at the time, but I'm going to pay it. I'm going to get my taxes. I'm going to pay it. And so we're going on the trip. Yep. Paying it. Yep. Well, I get a call from the school and they're like, he hasn't paid. And I said, when is it due? And she's like, yesterday. And I'm like, so I call him up and I'm like, are you paying it? And he's like, I don't have it. And I was like, okay.
Say something, man.
So I called Ron. And I said, listen, I'm in a little bit of a bind. This is an unexpected dollar amount. And he was like, take my credit card. And he just...
That's awesome.
He did,
That's awesome. That's awesome.
He paid it.
That's awesome.
And I made my daughter write him a note and say thank you. And, I remind her all the time that, he came through for her. And, I get it. Jason had some other issues going on. But, I've got this guy here. And it's not about a paycheck, but it's that care and that, taking care.
Absolutely.
So I feel like Ron could take care of the whole city in that way.
It takes an army, right?
Yeah, he's just, I don't know, he's a really great guy. Really lucky.
Well, you see people in their true light when they have to make those tough decisions. And they're so selfless and they're willing. And I always say the people that do the most say the least.
Yeah.
Right. That's always the way.
Ron will say it. He'll remind you of it. Have you met him? He's like a big gruff guy. He's like, it's fucking Bob business as he's counting his stacks of money. He'll remind you of it. But again, nobody's perfect. But he's a great guy. My exes and my husband's a saint to put up with that. A lot of men would not. They'd be feeling like it's emasculating to have these other guys around. My exes, let's be honest, I used to sleep with those guys. Right. And so now they're in your house on Christmas. You know what I mean? But it's like, I don't know.
I think at some point
I collect
you mature,
things. I don't know
right?
if you know that. Like I collect things. I collect men too. Like
all right.
I collect my men.
Sure,
I
trophy
keep
case.
them with
Sure, trophy
me.
case.
Listen, they're all an important part of my life. Even my very first boyfriend, I still like kind of talked to him too.
Really?
I don't know where he is right now, but I collected him too. I keep them near me. I mean, they're not doing better than me. Like,
so what do you find attractive in a man? What gets your attention?
All of my current husband, my ex, my second ex, Jason, and Ron are all extremely different people.
Okay.
They're all different. They all look different. They all sound different. They all have different walks of life. My husband currently is quintessential Portuguese guy, born and raised in Somerset. I mean, his family is not from here.
Yeah.
You know, sporting Benfica fights and things like that. I mean, my husband is just, I don't know, he's quintessential Portuguese guy. My second ex, Jason, is Jewish.
Okay.
And then my first Ron was 22 years older than me. You know, I was 22 when I met him. And he was 44.
Wow.
And so, so they're all different. And I don't know. I have things, everybody's different and
Is it looks first? It's like, are you attracted to the looks first? And
No.
then you're like, because it's got to be something.
No. I mean, I wouldn't say Ron or Jason are really good looking guys. I mean, my husband's good looking, but he's young. My husband's younger than me. I got with my husband. I was like, he's too young and he's too good looking at first, you know? And then I was like, it just all makes sense.
It's like, I'll keep him. I'll keep him.
No, I mean, I'm done with the guy search stuff. So Jeffrey, we're good.
Yeah, totally curious.
No, I mean, it's all different times. When I met Ron, I didn't have a dad. My mother had gone through a divorce with my stepfather. I need someone to take care of me.
So that's kind of like, so I'm kind of looking at this in the background going, wow, like I wonder if it was, you know, that development of like the stages in your life. Like you're at stages in your life, right? The stage
in my life is that I was dating him and he left me $200. He said, go get a dress. We're going to Capricio's. I was like,
okay, I'm having your baby.
I mean, I'm 22 years old. Like, that was amazing. And it was stability and he took care of me. And
that's very attractive.
I never had to worry about anything. But, you know, 22 years is a big deficit to overcome as I got older and he got older and we weren't on the same page.
Okay.
And then...
Oh, so you would say that age was kind of the factor? Would you say age was a factor? Not to get too personal, but I'm just absolutely fascinated. I'm curious.
He was a bar owner and I was young and I stayed at home and then I got pregnant and he was still at the bar late nights with hot waitresses and I didn't fucking like it. And, you know, there's just things, you know, I wasn't a good cook back then. I didn't know how to clean my house back then. I mean, he's 44 years old and I'm like, you know, things aren't neat around the house. I don't know. I couldn't host people. Like, you know, he had all his buddies. They owned a cigar store and I remember he wanted us to host them. And I was like carrying a plate down the stairs. I fell flat on my ass and I was like, I can't fucking do this, dude. I'm like, I just don't know what I'm doing. Like, it's just, the generational thing, I think for a certain point didn't work. Now it almost makes no difference. Right. But
because you get there, you level out.
And, you know, Ron was everybody knew Ron in the city and I loved that. And we would go to political events together and I really loved that. And everybody knew him and we owned businesses together and I loved that. And so that was all great. But, you know, I think the age really became an issue. And when I met Jason, I liked that nobody knew Jason. That was a big part of it. Nobody knew who he was. He was my age. Nobody knew him. He didn't know Ron. He didn't know the politics. He knew nothing. He was in Somerset and I was like, bye to the city, bye to everything. You know, bad breakup and starting over. And that was great. But he's not a hard worker, you know, and I wanted to raise my kids and he didn't want to work. And so I needed somebody to work so I could stay at home and raise my kids. I never put my children in daycare. I never wanted anybody else to raise them. That was very important to me. I wanted my personality and my style to come through in our day-to-day parenting. And so, you know,
we raise copies. Like I keep saying it. I keep David all the time. Like we raise copies. That's what they are. The more time you spend with them, the more they're like you. And that's just inevitable. I
want them to be better than me, but like it's there, you know what I mean?
Drive. They see what you're doing, Jess. They see everything you're doing. Every time you struggled, you rose above it. Like they see that. The moments where you were excited, oh my God, hey, I got this gig. And they're like, wow, Mom, I'm so proud of you. And then you're like, hey, I lost that gig. And they're like, wow, Mom.
And they're probably like, Mom disappointed us again.
Right? Mom's a loser.
God, Mom, just go back and work at the bank.
Real quick, fun talk.
What?
Favorite food? What do you like to eat? What was your favorite restaurants? What are you eating these days?
By default, I'm picking some sort of seafood, anything.
Oh, really?
I mean, like my favorite meal of all time.
No, I'm saying like around here, restaurants wise. Like I always try to promote a little bit of the restaurants and the culture around here.
Perfect. Happy to tell you. There's a restaurant in Tiverton called Pine House. Do you know where this is?
No.
Okay. You know Pine House? So go past the Rotary in Tiverton where the casino is on your right.
Yep.
Keep going straight.
Yep.
There is like an old log cabin looking restaurant over there. It used to be something else. Pine House has the absolute best food. They make everything from scratch. They make their honey mustard from scratch, their pickles, their bread and everything. Every Saturday, my husband and I, if we are going out at night, we stop there first. If we're not going at night, we go there for lunch. We've always gone for lunch. They have the crispest Moscato. It's... she knows too, and when I walk in, she just I'm picky with bartenders.
Yeah.
Obviously, Ron was a bar owner, and I was a bartender. I used to bartend at the Belmont years ago, and I'm picky about bartenders. I need you to pay attention a little bit, but not too much.
Yeah.
Like it's this weird vibe, you know what I mean? And when we walk in, she knows exactly what we're drinking already. She has it ready for me. She knows I'm only going to drink 2, and that like it's just perfect. It's a really great experience, and we went for the first time last week at night, and we had only been like kind of during the day or early dinner time. Place was packed. You know, they had a young group of guys there, you know, in their 20s who had just been golfing all day. Then you had a big group. I mean, the food is phenomenal.
Yeah.
The service is
Everything,
great.
seafood, meat.
Yeah, I mean, so what did I just have? They have like a fig and prosciutto pizza, which is off the chains. Their burgers are amazing. I mean, I wouldn't say there's any seafood on there, but like, you know, Cape Cod chips, they do a crock pot of chili with Cape Cod chips. It's just so good. Their French fries are ridiculous. I mean, everything is just handmade. My husband had chicken and waffles, and they were like, it's going to take a minute to make the waffles. What? Yeah.
Chicken and waffles? Yeah?
Yeah.
Oh,
it's so good.
I'm going to go.
Yeah.
I'm going to go.
You should go.
I love to eat and I love to drink. So if you guys ever want to go out and eat, just call me. I'm up for it.
I'm not going anywhere with you.
Yeah. No?
No.
Oh, well.
Stop like inviting yourself with me. Like it's not happening.
No? Damn. David, I told you not to try. Cut her the check now. Cut her the check now. I'm kidding.
I'm not,
Hey,
but okay.
You're an absolute pleasure. Thank you so much for coming.
Oh, wait,
in.
are we done? That's it?
Yeah, well, it's just, I mean, if you want to keep going,
How
we can
long
keep
was
going.
this?
We went almost 2 hours.
Wait, really?
Yeah, 1 hour and 52 minutes. That's why I was kind of.
Wow.
Yeah.
That was long.
So
I talked a lot.
You didn't even know it.
Can you edit the stuff out about my exes? No, leave it in.
I could if you want me to.
Just leave it in.
I could
Just
if you want
leave
me
it
to.
in.
Yeah.
This is fun.
Yeah.
I wish you a lot of luck. I'm glad you're here and doing it. You know what? I ask questions all the time. It's nice for somebody to ask me the questions. I like talking about myself. So this is really great.
Well, I was super interested. I just really interested in what you're doing. And like I said, the fact that I found you through natural resources. It wasn't about anybody telling me about you. And
well, I have to work on that because if you haven't heard about me, that's not necessarily a good thing. I got to do more.
I was so disconnected from like the politics of the city. Like
stay
I really
that way.
wasn't.
Can we go back to what I said in the beginning? Stay that way. Don't immerse yourself.
Yeah,
in
I'm not
it.
a political show. I'm not.
Just,
I'm not.
I don't think you need to be, but also like, I don't know. Politics is just. I feel like you're optimistic and positive right now about things, and I feel like politics can suck that out of people. So maybe I'm just saying like you don't lose your light. Don't lose your light, Bobby.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Just shine.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Round
What'd you say?
table?
I would love to do a round table.
Sure.
I would anytime. But
I'll
yeah,
drink
don't
for
do it.
that.
I can't
I'll
say it
drink
because
for
then
that
she's
one.
going to say I'm inviting her.
Stop inviting me. I'm not doing
right.
it.
I can't invite her.
This
I'm
is
not
a
inviting her.
charity interview. I
I'm
did
not
a
inviting
one
her.
and done, and that
Right.
is.
That's it. Done. Cut her the check now, bro.
You know what I did? I screenshotted how many views and people followed you before I came here today, so that after I share this, we can say how many people you get because of me.
I love that.
Do you?
I love that. That's great. Well, come on. Obviously, you have a huge following. I mean, you're great at what you do.
Yeah, I
no
know.
bullshit. You're great at what you do. No kidding. It's for me to be here and have you sitting there, like this is awesome. It really
we didn't
is.
talk about sports at all.
No, you like sports? You like sports?
Bobby, I have my quarterback's name tattooed on my arm.
I love that. Who's your quarterback?
Patrick Mahomes.
Oh.
And it's not a bandwagon thing. So for anybody who's going to give me shit,
David,
Erin
press
knows.
stop record. Click stop record.
Yeah.
Mahomes.
Yeah.
Everybody just left the audience. That's it.
No,
They're gone. They
I
left.
was a Chiefs fan back in 1992-93.
Okay.
Back when Marcus Allen was there, back when Joe Montana was playing for them. And I lived in Pennsylvania for 3 or 4 years.
Oh, okay.
And those were the games that you would pick up on TV. And first of all, I've always loved sports. And I knew sports was a great way to get guys. So for Christmas, I think in 93, I asked my parents for a subscription to Sports Illustrated, and it would come in the mail every week, and then I'd just bring it to school and have it sticking out of my...
Right?
No.
Mm-hmm.
I would put it in my backpack, and then I'd be walking down the halls, and guys would come over and be like, hey, can I read that? And I'd be like, oh, yeah, absolutely. What's your name? Yeah. And it worked. But I ended up inadvertently learning a lot about sports through whatever. Anyway,
you really did that? Like you got a Sports Illustrated to pick up guys?
Why would I fucking lie to you? Nothing I've said here is a lie.
Wow. I thought you were telling me you liked sports.
I did, but
then.
Moderately.
Yeah,
I mean, I didn't have a sport family.
It's diabolical. I would have never thought of that.
It's works.
I would have never thought of that.
It's out of the box thinking. So guys would grab the Sports Illustrated on my backpack and be like, I'm going to take this. And then what if they didn't get back? I'm going to go see them at lunch. I'm going to be like, can I have my Sports Illustrated back?
Right.
Come on, what are you doing?
Right, and the little pages are stuck together.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Yeah, you don't want that back.
And so I loved the Chiefs back then. And so I've paid my dues. I mean, we had terrible season after season.
Yeah.
Nobody liked them.
Yeah.
And then I moved back up here, and again, nobody liked them. And then we had a couple of, lights where I was like, okay, maybe. And the Alex Smith days were maybe, but he only got us to the fucking playoffs or maybe even a wild card, and it was disappointed over and over and over again. So now that Patrick Mahomes is there and I've won, like, let me live. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We got our first Super Bowl win, and I literally went to Up in Flames tattoo the next day. And I said, give me my quarterback's name. It's right on my arm.
Okay. Can you show us? There it is. I see it. Mahomes. Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Look at you. That is dedication.
Yeah. I mean, he gave me like my first win.
I've never got a tattoo because I can't commit to anything. Like, I don't know what
you don't have tattoos?
Not a single one. Not a single one. I've never got one. And you know what? My stance has always been like, I've never, good thing too, because I would end up with my ex-wife's name on my back somewhere. I decided that until I was absolutely certain I wouldn't get one. But someday I'd like to. What
do you mean someday?
Someday. When it happens.
Do you know how many views you would get if you did that and you said, we're going to go live and I'm going to go to...
I was going to pierce my nipple.
Why would you do that? Why is it always going down this weird...
Because you know why? Because I have tiny nipples. I have really small, abnormally small nipples. And so we were going to actually do it. This is where we lose the whole audience. But we raised $3,000.
For what?
For autism.
Okay.
We were doing it, and
but what does that have to do with your body?
Well, we weren't we weren't raising enough money, and so I went out and said, "Hey, if you guys do this, then..." And
I mean, you're saying it like it's like, but I think you're saying it with pride. Like I feel like you're just bragging.
I was willing to do it. I think for the greater good, I'm willing to do crazy things.
I mean, I think tattoos are. It's not about a commitment. It's about like creativity and things you love, and I mean. What are you saying? Memories.
What other tattoos do you have?
I have a J, which is just all my children are J names. Jack, Georgia with a J, and Julia. So it's for my kids. I have this.
What's the reason behind that? Just you like the letter J, or?
I'm a Jessica, so J. So we're all
J across the board.
All J's. Well, my kids all have two middle names too. I have no middle name. My mother didn't give me one. No. No, you do. I don't have a middle name, and so I gave my children two middle names to make up for that. So my kids all have. So my oldest daughter is Julia. Well, that's a weird story. Ron, I had a baby, and we had a middle name. It was Julia Siobhan Travasos was going to be her name, and we just had the baby. And the lady comes in to fill out the birth certificate, and Ron's like, "Hey, what do you think about if we add Murphy in there?"
Oh, jeez,
and I was like,
so
what?
Irish already.
I was like, "Yeah, sure, okay, great." And then Julia had two middle names. So then the other kids. So my son Jack. His middle name's Walker for
Texas Ranger.
No, it's for President George Walker Bush and Johnny Walker.
Oh, right.
And Cash is his second after Johnny Cash. So it's Jack Walker Cash Banville, and then
That's
Georgia has my two grandmothers' names. So Georgia Alice Edie Banville. So yeah. Isn't that fun? It's like collecting and thingies. Like
you are very collecting. I can see this.
Yeah, like
you take a little bit as you go along.
Yes. I'm going to be taking something from here.
I know, right?
I already have it in my bag.
Good thing you said something because I was going to blame my housekeeper. I had my housekeeper yesterday cleaning. I would have been like,
if you know
bitch, where's my stuff?
My besties are going to see this and they know I steal things from restaurants or places I go or friends' houses. We did a whole episode. You missed it. We did a whole episode and I brought all my trinkets in that I steal. And now all my followers are going to be sending me items and we're going to do an unboxing of all of them. But I take things and they're like my little memory. My biggest fear is I'm going to lose my memory and forget things. And so I hold on to things so that it'll trigger a memory. And I'll remember.
Why that though? Did someone you know?
No, it's just I feel like when you get older, like you lose. Every day I'm further away from something that happened. You know, like today's my daughter's first day of school. She's a junior. Do I remember second grade first day of school the way I did? No, it's like slowly leaving me and I'm worried. So I keep things and remind myself, and I post things on Facebook, but you don't see them. I make them only for myself. And so they come up every year in Facebook memories to remind me of something. It's not something like for you or for anybody else, but I send myself things. So every year they pile up and I go, oh yeah, I remember on that day I was feeling that, or on that day I was feeling this. And so it's like an online diary or whatever.
You know, it's funny you mentioned that. So funny to be even in this conversation. I went through a tough time in my life, probably like 3 to 4 years ago.
What happened?
I got divorced. And so I started writing things down. And this is why I mention these things. I'm very upfront and I'm very honest because I want men and I want people out there to hear what I'm saying.
Okay.
Don't be embarrassed of your situations. Own them and realize what you did wrong. And I wrote everything down.
Okay.
Every day I was sobbing. I was upset. I was devastated. I lost my family. And I wrote everything down. And then about a year later, when I started to see some light, like I started to feel a little bit better, I found that book and I opened it and I started to read the things that I wrote. And I almost felt like I was reading something from a third person.
Right.
Like it didn't seem like that was me. And then as I read it, I'm saying to myself, wow, bro, you haven't given yourself any credit, man.
Right.
Like you've been through all this and here you are. And without sight, without realizing, like most people probably wouldn't have made it, you know,
Right.
and I'm not bragging about it. But I'm just saying that it's possible. Right. And I think one of the most important things we can do is not lose sight of the effort that we put forth to be where we are today, right? We lose sight of all that. It's all don't look in the rearview mirror, never look back. But I think it's so important to do so. You know, and the things happen in our lives and sometimes things are out of our control, right? Like I mentioned to you, my situation, you know, how many people are divorced from these situations, right? I'm no different than anybody else. And so rather than sit here and be like, oh, Bobby, poor thing. Like you're such a, I decided otherwise. I decided, you know what? I'm going to build something for myself and this doesn't define me. And here we are. Like I'm sitting here talking to you. Like, you know what I mean? We're dating. You know what I mean?
We're not.
Yeah, we are.
We're
I can see
not
it.
dating.
I can see it. Just don't hide it.
But I don't
can see
feel
it.
that way.
Yeah, not
I don't
yet.
feel that way about you.
Not yet.
Like at all.
I
don't like your shirt.
I appreciate
I'm
you.
kidding.
I really appreciate you. You're amazing.
Thanks
listen,
for
you have the
having
most
me.
like I love your energy. I love being here
Thanks.
with you. This means a lot to me, you know, and I think
Oh,
you
don't
know,
say that.
No, and I'm being honest. Like I appreciate the conversation. Like if we weren't recording this, if we were sitting anywhere like dating in a restaurant or something like that, I'm kidding. I'm totally kidding. Jeff, I'm kidding. The conversation would be the same. Like it wouldn't be any different. Like this is exactly what I wanted.
You do have a great way of like having conversation. I mean, I have a lot of questions for you,
Sure,
but like
sure.
we can't keep going.
No,
But, like,
I know, right? We're going on 3 hours.
I have questions for you,
Sure,
but like, and
sure.
I also feel there's something going on here where there's like a lack of believing in yourself. In some ways, some things you've said, I don't like that. I'm drawn to people that have confidence. Almost sometimes a false sense of confidence is better because fake it till you make it is a real thing. You know what I mean? Like I didn't know how to be a reporter in the Karen Reed trial, but I fucking pretended to be one until I figured it out.
Nailed
and then
it.
I was one.
Nailed it.
So
I'm struggling with the people around me. Like not David. I don't want to talk about David.
what
but
do you mean? The people around you are not
'cause
responsible
I'm
for
ready
you.
because I am so ready. No,
Then
it's
do it
not
on
about
your own.
responsibility. That's just it. Like I'm
Do
getting.
you have a job?
Yes, I work full time.
So you work full time?
I do.
Do you do well? Like
I do.
moderately? Can you pay the bills?
I do great.
Okay,
I do great.
So what you can't do, outsource. You pay somebody to do it.
Yes. I'm a control freak, and so I got to work on that. And I talk to my therapist about that often.
You go to therapy?
Yes, I do. Absolutely. Yes, once a month. Dave is absolutely 100%. I'm an advocate. I think everybody.
Oh, okay.
No, not that Dave.
Okay.
I got a real therapist. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't believe in therapists.
Really?
Right.
Why not?
Because they're just regular people. They're just regular people
He is.
with their
Yes.
own problems.
Yes.
There's been no different
You're
than
right.
you and I.
You're 100%.
Maybe they have a skill set to let
Yeah.
you talk, but I feel like there are other ways. I'm not discouraging it, and I think it's great. I'm just saying, like, I don't know. Listen, I'm also like not a substance person.
Yeah.
So I don't believe in drugs. I don't smoke
Yeah, me
weed.
neither.
I
Yeah.
don't do, I drink alcohol to have fun with my friends, but I don't use it to cope. I think raw dogging life is the best way to do it because like it builds strength and it gives you like an arsenal of like things that you would not get if you're doing it artificially. And I'm not saying therapy isn't, but I do believe you probably have it in yourself to do without that.
It's so funny because I felt the same way for many years. Like
Yeah.
I felt that same way. And then the problem came when I needed some real advice. My family loves me, my friends love me. And every time I talked to them, they'd always say what I wanted to hear.
Right.
And I wasn't getting what I actually needed to hear.
Right.
That's when I met Dave. I decided to seek therapy and I met Dave.
Yep.
And, he sat in the chair right across from me and I say whatever I need to say. And he doesn't say much, never does. But for that hour that I get to sit there and say anything I want without judgment, it's very important because anybody I talk to cares about somebody else. I'm very connected to the people I'm around. So,
yeah, but when you leave that room, judgment is there. People well, you're saying without judgment.
Yes,
so you could leave that room. Yeah. Your life, your circumstances, who you are doesn't change.
Right.
The environment changes. So now you're in a space where there isn't someone that is one getting paid to listen to you and whatever, not judge you.
Yep.
What you have to do is you have to go out into the real realm of where people are and not give a fuck about whether or not they judge you. Perpetually have that feeling that like they have their own problems. Some people they show them, some people they don't. Some people maybe they're in a space and time where they don't have issues and everything is copacetic and great. But like stepping outside of that space, like what if Dave just says, you know what, fuck it, I'm moving to Florida and I'm going to go live a life. Like Dave's gone. What are you going to do?
Oh, I'm going to Zoom call.
What if Dave doesn't want to do this anymore?
He's a good guy.
You can't be dependent on somebody.
It's not
you
about
have it.
dependent,
You want to talk about success, and you have it in you. You have it there. It's there. You don't need all of those things. You have to just trick yourself into thinking you can do it. You don't need anybody. I don't care if people judge me. Every day somebody calls me fat. Every day somebody makes fun of my ass on the internet. There is a meme and it's like they self-imposed my face on Miss Piggy. It is the funniest shit I've ever seen. I mean, I cannot I can't. I can't let it get to me. I never, ever do. Occasionally something will get to me and maybe I'll go back and look at it or whatever, but I can't dwell on it.
So you don't think any of that?
I lie to myself. I tell the person who did that is like a fucking loser. Maybe they're not. Maybe they're writing that from like a really great house in like fucking south side of Boston and they've got like, I don't know, right? If they're using a burner account, I don't know. Yeah. Or maybe they're a stranger and their name is on. I don't know anything about them. I lie and I tell myself that they are absolute losers. I say they haven't gotten laid in fucking years. Their kids don't talk to them. I just lie and I say I don't know.
Right.
I just trick myself.
Yeah, you create the character.
What is that? How?
Do you don't think there's some trauma in there? Like you keep collecting things. You don't think there's some therapeutical trauma that could help you from collecting things? You think that's something to do with it?
I have had, I think, a lot. First of all, no worse than anybody else. I've had shit happen in my life with my parents. I don't think anybody in our generation really has a great relationship with their parents because our parents are baby boomers and they were raised by people who fucking gave them everything after they worked their whole lives for it and they didn't earn it. And then they didn't teach us how to keep it, whatever. Like, I'm not going to get into that. All I'm saying is everybody has a story. And, you know, do I play victim sometimes? Yeah, I fucking think my mother could have been like a better co-parent and then I would have known my dad or whatever. But I do what I like. I don't care what anybody else thinks. I don't know if there's anything else you take from this whole thing. I just don't give a fuck what anybody else thinks. I don't. Maybe my kids, maybe. And even then I will resort to the fact that I know better than them and they don't know enough. But I don't care what anybody thinks about me. I wake up every day and I never think about what somebody else is doing. And that would never make a decision on what I did or the path I chose or where I went to fucking eat that day. Nothing. I don't care what people think.
That's
can't
powerful.
care.
That's powerful. That's a powerful mindset.
I don't know why you don't have that. Don't care.
You know, I don't think it's as extreme as you're mentioning it. But there is an element of this that I'm very, like, I understand that I'm building something and I understand that there are certain things that I need to be very cautious about because I don't want to be something that I'm not. In other words, I don't want people to get the wrong perception of what my show is. I am a catalyst for the journey. I am a catalyst.
No, back up. Give me 3 adjectives that describe you. I'm sorry. You got to go, Dave.
He's going to get fired.
All right. 3 adjectives that describe you.
Determined.
Yep.
Honest.
Yep.
And true.
Okay. There you go. You're good. Honest and true are the same thing.
No, they're different. No, because you can speak the truth and you can be dishonest.
I don't get that. And
every politician around us,
why we're not dating.
Well, we could work that out though in therapy.
Are we done?
You could go to couples therapy.
I got the vibe.
You want to do couples
what did
therapy?
You just say?
Couples therapy.
Couples, you couldn't fucking put a gun in my mouth. I'm never going to therapy. I sent my husband to therapy with his mother. Yeah. That is the problem.
How did that work out?
I don't know, but I'm going to tell you something. I'm not going to therapy with him. Go with your mother and work out your own issues and then come back to this marriage. And that's exactly what I said. First of all, I'm perfect and you cannot improve on this. And therefore I'm not going to therapy. And I don't get, therapists are just regular fucking people. What makes them any special? You want to go talk to a priest? Even they don't live a certain life that is absolved of sin or whatever. I mean, like, hi. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
nobody, that's why you cannot, I don't have heroes.
Mhm.
My kids do not have heroes. We don't put fucking, Patrick Mahomes is on my arm, not because he's a hero, because he gave me joy and that euphoria of winning.
It's the mullet, right?
Right?
It's the mullet.
It's not the mullet. It's not the voice. It's the fucking championships.
Well, I
and
didn't
the
say
blind
voice.
fucking
It's the-
side passes.
it's the voice.
It's hitting my tight end with 3 seconds left and fucking moving those fucking chains. That's why that's
Do you do
there.
any local sports? Like
What?
Red Sox? You like any local sports?
I'm a
Red
Yankee
Sox?
fan. That saved my
Yankees?
marriage. Yeah, I
Yeah.
loved the Red Sox when I was a kid, but
Bruins?
my husband's. I mean, listen, I'll watch sports. I
Yeah.
love the competitive stuff, and sports are a wonderful invention by humans. I think it's better than anything else. It's camaraderie, it's competition, it's the win, it's the loss, it's the underdog. There's so many things sports give. I love them, but we're not a sports family. My kids aren't real big sports people, and so back to what I was saying. We don't. No heroes. You're your own hero. You're your own person, because heroes will let you down.
Yeah.
Heroes aren't perfect. So it's you. You do your own shit, and that's it.
We went to, 2 hours?
We're ready to go. I'm
minutes?
sweating.
Me too. It's hot in here. I know. I feel the same way.
Fucking
Jessica,
guy.
thank you so much for being here. I really
Thanks
appreciate
for
it. All kidding
having me.
aside, you're just amazing energy. I love it. I can't wait to do this again. I hope we can do this again. I'm not going to invite myself, but
Right.
I hope that we can do this again. And I'm going to continue to watch and see what you're putting out there. I think it's amazing. I think it's very
Thanks.
important to the community. I think it's important to all the people that actually give a shit at what's going on around us. And you're a trendsetter. Yeah,
I
you
know.
are. You're a trendsetter.
Oh, that's what Erin
Yeah.
calls me.
Yeah, you are. You're a trendsetter, and I
Thanks.
appreciate you.
And you're doing a great job.
Thank you.
I'm rooting for you.
That means a lot to me. Thank you.
Okay.
Coming from you. Thank you.
Thanks.
Appreciate you. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for being here. Really appreciate it. We know we kind of went the length this time. But of course, when it's great conversation, it's great conversation. You can't control it. Remember to like, follow, and subscribe to the Bobby Kudo Show. Available everywhere. Thank you very much, everybody. We appreciate you. And remember, all roads lead here.